On today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, we're going to review that little Twisters film that just came out in 4DX, no less. The Boys Season 4 finale. We're going to talk about that a little bit in spoilery details, just so you're warned. The Halo series on Paramount Plus has been canceled, but if you're a fan of the show, they might find a new home for Season 3 also. Remember that Jack Bauer show 24? It looks like they are officially now developing a movie for it, but how can they do that? And Deadpool and Wolverine just put out what they are calling the final trailer. And I'm not going to lie, I cried a little bit watching it. That and a few things more. The John Campea Show podcast starts right now.
Got the latest scoop and the hottest takes, the John Campea Show, where the conversation never breaks.
Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show podcast, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by Ray Ora.
Hey, happy Friday.
We got Jonathan Voico.
Hello.
It's Friday, so Chris Carr is here.
Hey, everybody.
And most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here and making this little show part of your day. Here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to start off by going over those topics that I just listed off. Then in the second part of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. The way you get a live comment or question for us to address on the show, if we deem it appropriate to address on the show, is by using this tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. Fire it on in and we'll get around to it in the second part of the show. By the way, too, if you happen to be one of the 90% of the people who watch the John Campea Show when it's not actually streaming live, and you have a comment or question, this tip link is good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if at like 3 in the morning, you've got a topic or question that crosses your mind, go ahead and use the tip link, send it in, and we'll just get around to answering it on the next episode. The countdown continues. It is now 6 days. 6 days till Deadpool and Wolverine. Seriously, guys, I feel like it was just yesterday that we got that video where Ryan was, hey, you want to do another Deadpool movie with me? Okay. I feel like that was just yesterday. And now here we are 6 days away from that movie coming out, and I couldn't be more excited. Also, want to mention before we get rolling on the show today, today is July 19th. And on this day, July 19th, 2018, the king died. The king of the sweaties, the best of us in the geek community and fan world, the very best of us. John Schnepp passed away, the king of the sweaties. There is not a day that goes by, and certainly not a movie that comes out, particularly with Deadpool and Wolverine coming, that I don't think, God, I wish Schnepp could have been here to see this. I think he would have absolutely been, I could just imagine him on a mic right now, like totally losing his mind over this movie coming out. And so, yeah, another year without the best. And we continue to miss the big guy. All right, guys, with that all down, let's get on to our show here, shall we? We're going to start off with this. Yesterday, Ray and I went to go see the new movie Twisters. Of course, a sort of sequel to the original. Listen, I've seen the original a few times. I watched the new Twisters. I saw no connection between the two films, but whatever, that's fine.
There was tornadoes in both.
But there were tornadoes. And there
good.
were some cows.
Good connection.
So
double the cows.
I won't say. I don't want to spoil anything
There's
for
not
you.
double the cows. Missed
Double
me
the
with this
cows,
movie.
triple the fun.
But
Yeah.
we went to go see this, and not only was it my first time seeing Twisters, it was my first experience going to a 4DX theater,
How'd it go?
which Ray insisted I would walk out of. Like for weeks, he's been insisting I was going to walk out in the first 5 minutes because he's been to a 4DX. I have not. First, let me just touch on the 4DX thing.
Okay.
Very innovative. I mean, look, I don't know how many different movies I would want to watch in a 4DX, but for Twisters, it was perfect because a good, out of the 2-hour movie, a good 1 hour and 45 minutes is them driving trucks over rough ground. So like, you're sitting down in this seat that looks like a roller coaster seat because they got your foot pads come up and all this kind of stuff. And sure enough, as they're driving their trucks and running away from the tornado and they're going over rough ground and stuff like that. And your chair is going. I was like, you know, this actually kind of works. Now, they also did the motion with one of the original Deadpool trailers. They had the motion going. It didn't really work for me for the Deadpool trailer, but for Twister, it was really good. So I got to say, I think I will visit the 4DX theater on the right kind of movie. I think I'll visit the 4DX theater again sometime. So anyway, that aside, didn't know what to expect from Twisters. I was quite honestly fearing the worst. Now, the reviews have been pretty good, and that's good. You know what, Ray, I gotta say, I had a lot of fun. I thought it was a fun movie. And is it gonna win any Best Screenplay Oscar nominations? No. Are these like deep, intense characters? No. Basically, Glenn Powell is Hangman from Top Gun Maverick. He's basically the same guy. But you know what? The chemistry between him and I'm forgetting the name of the lead girl.
Oh gosh, we just had it yesterday.
Yeah, I was
Daisy,
just something Duncan.
Daisy
Edgar-Jones.
Edgar-Jones.
Daisy
Jones.
Edgar-Jones.
Yeah.
And the chemistry between them was actually really good.
Oh, great.
I really loved Transformers Boy.
Anthony Ramos.
Anthony Ramos was, I thought, really quite good in it. I thought his chemistry with her was really good too.
I do like when they update like his background was YouTube, right? But they didn't press that point. On
Glenn
us.
Powell's background, not Ramos's.
Was YouTube.
Yeah.
Was
Yeah.
YouTube.
Well, it's not his background. That's what he is.
That's
He's
what
a
he was
YouTube
doing.
star in
I
it.
like when they kind of like update that in characters where it reflects what's going on in the world today. You know, like that sort of like thing. And he played that part really well. I really enjoyed that. Like you said, with like kaiju movies, zombie movies, it's like you got to care about the people because you know everything else is going to happen, right? Natural disaster movies, another part they got to hit right is make you feel, because a lot of these natural disasters, we don't live in tornado valleys out here, right? We don't live in those alleys. You want to feel what those people could possibly feel. Unfortunate people who had to go through that stuff, right? And I thought the movie did that well too. There was like the parts where the tornado hit and you see the aftermath, the destruction, and during it, it gives you a sense of how dangerous these things are and how life-threatening they are. Like you could just...
Yeah, to your point, one of the really good things about it was they didn't glorify tornadoes because, you know, you're watching the trailers and it's like, if you feel it, chase it. It's like, woo, tornadoes. They do a good job in the movie of like, yeah, there's this huge action sequence and there's like 4 or 5 tornado sequences in this thing. So there's a huge action sequence, but then they make sure to show the devastating aftermath of it, that there's actually a human cost to these things. So I thought it was actually pretty cool that they didn't just glorify the tornadoes, but the action was great. You felt the intensity. They do enough to make you suspend your disbelief to maybe buy into the science a little bit, even though it's just movie science.
Right.
But again, it was funny where it needed to be funny. The characters were decent. It's not anything big or deep. Is it a movie I'm going to see every year for, you know, for the rest of my life that I'll go back and visit every year? No. But will I go back to theater and watch it one or two more times? Yeah.
I wonder how the 4DX changed our experience.
You know what? I was thinking about that because I think the next time I'll go see it in like
a normal,
a Prime or
You'd be
something
so
like that.
Bored. You'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm so static.
I wonder how much of my experience was the 4DX, or how much of it was just the movie.
But
Bring
you
a
may-
handheld fan. Just sit there like
yeah,
this.
just a fan.
But you may notice things that you may have missed the first time. I mean,
Yeah.
was a couple times. As big as I am, I almost fell off the seat. It was rocking so much.
It was rocking pretty heavily. I was
and I
like,
saw Anne flinging right next to me, like back and forth, like her legs were flying, like because she could.
well, I
she
like
said
to
she
sit
couldn't-
with my legs crossed, right?
Right.
When I sit in a movie theater, I like to sit with my legs crossed. For most of the movie I did, but there are times I was like, I've got to put both my feet down in the thing because I'm going to fall out of my seat.
I tapped Anne and I pointed to you crossing her legs like the way you do when you sit. I was like, he thinks his legs are going to stay like that. And me and her started laughing.
Well, they did
Anne
most
just
of the
like-
movie.
They did most of the time.
But there was a couple of times I had to go, nope, got to put both my feet down on the pads.
I just imagine in 4DX, Anne is airborne.
Yeah.
so
She
tiny.
said she was literally coming off the seat.
Yeah, she's coming out to see. Actually, I don't know if it was you or Ann afterwards that said, because like in the theater, like sometimes they're blowing smoke up
Yeah.
and like water springs. Ann said they should, or I think it was Ray, maybe it was you, said they should have had a couple of dummies in the theater that
the
they
front
literally
seats flying
fired
up
up
in the
into the air.
That's the thing.
Trash coming at you.
It
Look
almost
out.
felt like that was going to happen. I meant when that theater was packed, first of all the cars in the parking lot went to that movie. I believe, because
It was packed.
when we went there, it's 2:00 in the afternoon on a Thursday. There's usually no cars there. And then when we walked in and gave our ticket, the guy's like, everybody's seeing this.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
walked
The
in,
ticket taker was like,
and
everybody's
everyone-
here to see this. It's packing
everybody was
out.
seeing it. And everyone clapped. They had a good time in there. It was like that. A lot of it was an experience too. It was a great afternoon.
So, guys, I recommend. Listen, am I saying this is going to be one of the great movies of the year? No, but I think this is a fun, worthy movie to run out and go and check out. So, yeah, if you're looking for something to do prior to the big Deadpool screenings coming up this week, go on out and see Twisters. I had a good time with it. I think you will too. All right, guys, that down. Let's move on to this, shall we? We're going to talk a little bit of The Boys, which had its season finale the other night. Now, I am going to give you a little bit of warning. It's been a couple of days now. It's dropped Wednesday at midnight. It's now Friday. So we don't, like to go into too many details within the first 12 hours of a show coming out, but it's been another day. So we are going to talk about some details here just to give you a heads up warning for those of you who haven't seen the finale of the Boys. I'll just start off with the big picture. It's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. And, ending with basically where it felt like the moment the boys revealed to us in season 1, episode 1, that Homelander is not a good guy. We now get to the end of season 4 with the world of the boys being in its inevitable place. Inevitably, this world of the boys with a Homelander, this is where we were going to end up. A new fascism where basically Homelander is now basically running the country with his puppets. They're rounding up all the dissidents and all that kind of stuff. And it's just a very, very depressing kind of ending. But such a powerful episode with the ending to an incredibly powerful season. I just couldn't, I can't believe how much Eric Kripke manages to continue to keep his foot on the pedal and keep things going. There are a couple of big highlight moments for me. Obviously with Butcher giving in, like after everything with Ryan went south, and that was really,
Oof.
what was her name again?
Grace Mallory.
Mallory, with the way Mallory
What
screwed
a
everything up.
Humble. And what
Yeah.
she's always been so careful. She's always been so careful
Yep.
with what she's done.
She totally effed everything up. And then the Butcher just giving us like, yep, guess there's no other way. He goes, and I felt so bad for Newman. I felt so bad for Newman.
He did such a good job just humanizing her so much this season and making this incredibly powerful person feel so powerless. And that was horrific.
Yeah.
That was so violent. Oh my God.
But I'll tell you why. There's a couple other things we want to talk about too, but I'll tell you why I loved Newman's death. Edgar is still out there.
Mm-hmm.
Giancarlo Esposito's out there. And while it is Butcher who killed her, he's going to hold one person responsible. That's Homelander.
Yeah.
Because he knows what Homelander was doing to her. And when he finds out, and he will find out, that Homelander threatened to rip his granddaughter into pieces and send them to her mother, one piece of her to her mother per year, I think the one guy, other than Soldier Boy, that could make, in this series that has constantly made Homelander piss himself, is Stan Edgar. And so we've got Soldier Boy back in play.
Yes.
Maeve is still out there, despite, because at the end of this episode, everybody's round up and captured. So the remaining players and pieces on the board are Starlight, Billy Butcher, Maeve is still out there. We've got
A-Train's in the wind.
A-Train is still out there. Yep, A-Train's in the wind. Ashley,
Yeah.
who is a character that I've always thought was kind of just a waste of screen time in a way. But the way it all built up to what ultimately happens, I'll tell you what, last week's episode, when she actually breaks down and reveals to A-Train, I fired my assistant because I wanted to get him away from here. It's like, it's the first really human thing we saw. And like, so it's the first time we see past the facade that she has. And like, she's actually a human being under a really effed up human being, but a human being nonetheless.
Yeah.
And then with the ending, the way she ends her storyline in this particular episode, taking the Temp V and like what's going to happen to her and all this kind of stuff. And then one of the most heartbreaking things, I'll let you talk about that part. The most heartbreaking thing at the end with Kimiko, with her
saying her first word. I rewound that so many times. I just kept playing that over and over again because it was, wait, you know what? Because we have heard her sing, but that was a fantasy. And her just having that guttural no.
Yeah. Oh.
Man.
Oh.
This show.
Yeah. And so I got a couple of theories.
Okay.
Now we know what happens in the comic book, but clearly the show has deviated from the comic book.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's the general direction of the comic that the show's kind of followed. So we kind of know where that's going, but also a lot is up in the air. Number one, I think Starlight losing her power and now re-tapping into it, I think she's coming back more powerful than ever.
Absolutely agree.
I think she's going to come back like more powerful than ever. Is she one that can now go toe to toe with Homelander? Don't know about that. Butcher, I think will pull himself back. I think he's got the Negan side of his brain and he's got the Becca side of his brain. So I think ultimately the Becca side is going to pull him back a little bit. And I still think Ryan is in play. I don't think Ryan's a lost cause at this point because I don't think he trusts his dad either. I don't think he's about to run back into the arms of his dad. So there's that. I think Maeve makes a return because her and Starlight clearly got close. So I think Maeve makes a return. The biggest thing to me is how does Soldier Boy play into this? Because why on earth would Homelander allow Soldier Boy to be re-woken up when he knows Soldier Boy just wants to kill him? So unless, I don't know, Starlight, because Starlight knows Soldier Boy's still alive. So unless Starlight and Butcher at some point reconnect and they break the boys out of prison and think, well, we know that Soldier Boy, and they go back out. So maybe that end credit scene is just to remind the audience that Soldier Boy is still out there. So I don't know where they go with this. Anyway, how are your feelings of the finale and the season overall?
I mean, it was a great season. It was such a violent season. And there were so many things I just couldn't watch in this one where I had to just kind of be in the other room and listen. So much eye stuff. Oh my gosh, Sister Sage, stop lobotomizing yourself. Thank you all for all the warnings too. Everyone was really sweet and I got so many DMs from you guys saying not to watch certain moments. So thank you. With timestamps, you guys are the real heroes. Man, I mean, this season wildly was imitating a lot of real life stuff. Hence, we had the trigger warning before this episode too, and a renaming of this one. The Boys has really been on the pulse of a lot of things. They've done such a beautiful job of adapting this comic, like you were saying, but making it their own story while still feeling true and reminiscent of the original source material. I cared about so many characters I did not think I would. Like Ashley, like A-Train's redemption story.
Ended up being really good.
I never thought I'd be back on his side. And I absolutely adored all of that. I still can't wrap my head around the fact that they got Tilda Swinton this season to voice an octopus. That was insane to me. And this ending, on The Boys, we don't get nice things. So when we start having that glimmer of hope, MM's going to get on that plane, Huey and Starlight are going to go off, all these kinds of things. And then that big closing moment of everyone just getting God. I think
it's kind of like the ending of the original Godfather. Where it's like Homelander was settling family accounts.
Except you didn't want him to settle.
What's that?
Except you didn't want him to settle.
Yeah, except you didn't want that.
You were so hopeful
settled.
that for once they were going to get their happy endings here. I do think moving forward, because this season, while we had references to the Gen V show, you didn't need to watch it. I do feel like there's going to be further tie-ins this time around, especially because we're not starting filming for the final season of The Boys till about November.
Right.
Which is still pretty soon, but that means we're going to go into 2025, into production and everything. I think there's going to be a lot of nuggets in that next season of Gen V that are going to tie into this storyline.
Well, they say the next episode of Gen V, the next season of Gen V picks right up here in Homelander's New America.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see a lot of on-campus stuff with, Homelander's put Starlighters on notice.
Yeah.
And so I think we're going to see a lot of that in the show, the kind of rounding up these kind of almost prisons or internment camps, for lack of a better term here, of using these people. I think it's going to be a pretty bleak season of that. I'm very interested to see where the show's going. And I got to just say, Kripke, when you give him 5 seasons of something, it's chef's kiss. It's what he wanted for Supernatural. It's what he's doing with this. I love a creator who knows that they're coming to an end of a story and that they have a vision for what it's going to be. So I am really excited about what's to come.
And really, when you think about it too, there's this story, like you can especially feel it now. This story is naturally coming to its end. Like you just can't go much further than where they're at, because now you've come to a loghead where things have now got to get settled and resolved. And that's going to be the end of it. And I just cannot wait for season 5. So well done, Amazon and Eric Kripke, for another fabulous season of The Boys. I absolutely loved it. Cannot wait to get around to Gen V season 2. All right. With that down, guys, let's move on to this, shall we? Moving on from series that we're looking forward to the next season to a series that isn't going to get a next season. According to reports, Paramount Plus has now canceled the Halo series. It ran for 2 seasons on Paramount Plus and has come to an end. And listen, it was a series that had kind of a rocky reception. I didn't mind the first season quite as much as other people did. Like, for me, it was, I'll give the beginning of the next season a try. Like, there was enough there that I was like, I'll at least give the beginning of the next season a shot. But I wasn't thrilled with it, but it had certain pieces there. I actually quite enjoyed the second season. I thought the second season was a definitive improvement over the first. I even think people who didn't like the show have to acknowledge that the second season was a step up from the first season. And I was getting more and more invested in it, to be honest with you. The further along the story went, I was getting a little bit more. I never got to the point that I loved the show, but I definitely was enjoying it more the longer it was going on. And what's the name of that entity that gets revealed at the end?
Oh,
Flood?
It's the Flood.
The Flood, yeah.
Well, season 1, and then the next one is like the Forerunners.
Yep.
The Forerunners. It's the new enemy or whatever.
So I thought, that's kind of interesting to go, but it's apparently they have pulled the plug out. And listen, I'm not surprised. Paramount Plus is not doing great.
Yeah.
Halo, while they did okay numbers, they were not good numbers.
It was an expensive show, probably.
And it was an expensive show for a streaming network that is struggling. They need better bang for their buck results. But if you are somebody who did enjoy the show, there is some hope. Now, because according to Coming Soon, it says this, but it might not be the end of the show. According to Deadline, Amblin Television, Xbox, and 343 Industries are looking to shop Halo around to get a third season elsewhere. Halo Season 2 ended earlier this year, and there was no sign of a cancellation or a renewal until now. The Season 2 finale was filled with death and ended with a cliffhanger that may now go unresolved in the series anyway. So, here's the question. Like Lucifer got canceled and found new life. Like Designated Survivor got canceled and found new life. Like, what was the name of the what was the name of the cop show that everybody liked? Got canceled with the guy from Lonely Island.
Brooklyn
Brooklyn
Nine-Nine.
Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine got canceled. Got a second chance. They're saying they're going to try to do that for Halo. I don't know if I see another network picking them up. Like, maybe Netflix looks at it and says, hey, if that show was on our network, it would have done much better. I mean, I don't know if that's true or not, but maybe they look at it. Rando, you followed the show. Were you disappointed that it got canceled?
You know what? I was so happy with just the change in the second season and then seeing where they were going. I'm happy if they ended it right here. It's fine. Like they canceled the Halo. I'm about to cancel my Paramount Plus. So, and I'm being completely honest. If that was like one of the properties that I was like, you know, I had that if I wanted to rewatch some certain episodes. My dream would be that they announce Halo has been picked up by Apple TV Plus.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know about
Because
that.
Apple
Yeah.
TV Plus
Yeah.
That is a
has been a
dream.
great home for sci-fi and
Yep.
a lot of their shows. I would be so down just for a complete reboot. Like even if they use the same actors and Apple took it over, that would be my dream.
Yeah, I got it. You know what? Yeah, Apple TV Plus taking over Halo.
Rob would have probably replaced that with Invasion any day.
You know,
because he hates Invasion. I love Invasion.
It should go to Peacock. That's where it'll thrive.
You know what? And the work, you know, if it does get picked up by, let's say, a Netflix,
Yeah.
and they do continue on, well, I don't know. I don't know if it would even be worth it for Netflix to actually get the show as it is right now.
Well, they have a lot more subscribers
That's true.
than Paramount Plus does. So they might think they might think if you take the equation of proportionally how many people watched Halo in relation to how many subscribers Paramount Plus had. And they may say if they do the correlation of that over to Netflix, they may think we may actually get a lot of viewership on this.
And I keep forgetting we have another player now. Now with Fallout coming out, Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon
Yeah,
could
that-
actually take this video
I could
game
see
to-
that actually, at Amazon. More
By the
than
way,
there.
Amazon's Fallout show just got nominated for the top prize in television,
They're
best
working on
drama
God
at
of
the
War.
Emmys. So who knows? Now, I don't think you watched any of Halo, did
No,
you?
I did not.
This
I
was
did
not your thing.
This is not my jam. I'm vaguely familiar with the games, and I just heard so many people who loved the games, like Gray and other folks, talking about how season 1 just wasn't quite it. There are issues with Master Chief and the reveal of the helmet coming off early. Cortana's design, I know, changed from season 1 to season 2. It kind of, I don't know, most of the notes that I heard about the show was like, failed Mandalorian? I don't know. I don't know if that's an accurate portrayal, though.
But you know what? I props to Paramount for actually putting something out for us Halo fans.
Hey, they
at
tried.
least.
They
Yeah.
did it.
They give it a
We've
shot.
gone through years
Take a
of
swing.
teases and
Yeah.
blue balls for
Yep.
getting
And you know what?
something.
A lot of it looked very good. A lot of it looked
Make sure
very
those
good.
blue
So
balls,
we'll see
Paramount
what
Plus.
happens. We will see what happens as time continues. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? Do you think there's another network that could come along and pick up Halo for season 3? If so, where do you think the ideal home would be? I like Ray's idea of Apple TV Plus, but maybe an Amazon. Look what they did with Fallout, or maybe a Netflix. Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. That down. Let's move on to this, shall we? 24 with Kiefer Sutherland has a very special place in my heart because when I first moved to LA and I got my apartment in LA, I got like kind of sick the first weekend I got here. And right up the street because I lived right in Hollywood on Sunset Boulevard, right up the street was a Blockbuster Video, still alive in its last gasps. But I dragged my sorry feeling kind of sick ass down there and I picked up season 1 DVD collection of 24 because I hadn't seen it yet. And I binged all 24 episodes in like 3 days. And it just became a phenom. Now, some people will say that the show kind of outlived itself. I admit I got kind of tired where every season was about, oh no, the government thinks Jack Bauer's the bad guy now. Wait a minute, didn't they just do that last season? And the season before that, and the season before that, and at the end of every one of those seasons, they realize, oh, Jack, we never should have doubted you. And then the very next season, oh, Jack Bauer's on the run again. It's like, what the hell's going on? Anyway, the premise of at least that first season was brilliant. For those of you who don't know anything about it, the whole idea of 24 was the entire first season takes place in one day, in one 24-hour period. And each episode of the show represented one of those 24 hours. It was a show in real time. Right. It was really a neat idea, and they executed it brilliantly. And oh my God, when they killed his wife in the final episode, I'm like, whoa! Like I never saw that. Told me that they could do anything in this show because I totally didn't see it coming.
They did a lot of things, that's for sure.
So now, according to this report, and coming soon, their 20th Century is now developing a 24 movie.
24 years too late.
Yeah, with mega producer Brian Grazer, though. Mega producer Brian Grazer talking about the one doing it, saying he's working on bringing this. He thinks it's going to be a success. They're going to make this movie. All right, I have two thoughts. One is, what will separate this from just being another spy thriller? Like a wannabe Jason Bourne, a wannabe James Bond, a wannabe accountant, a wannabe whatever. Because to me, listen, I always say this, gimmick is not a dirty word. Gimmick is like any other tool in your tool belt. You can use it well, or you can use it badly. A lot of times people use gimmick badly. But 24, the whole gimmick of every being told in real time, every episode being 1 hour of a real day, leading from a chaotic day that starts in chaos and confusion and comes to a resolution at the end. That's the DNA of 24. How do you do a 24 movie? And listen, maybe you could make an argument for it if Kiefer Sutherland's coming back for it and it's about Jack Bauer, but all indication is this isn't going to involve Jack Bauer. So it's not like you're going to get people that way. I'll tell you what, Chris, listen, I really did like the show. I think it's got a great place in TV history. And I love good Canadian kid Kiefer Sutherland. Mm-hmm. But how do you do a 24 movie when the very premise of what made that show so unique cannot possibly be a part of your movie project? Do you think this thing has a future?
I don't know. I mean, this is the thing, though. 24 won 20 Emmys when it was on air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and Brian, they have this great Brian Grazer quote in this particular article talking about just betting on successful IP, betting on things that you think will do well in the box office and everything. They also mentioned that they're doing a Backdraft reboot with Glenn Powell. That was the thing that I kind of hung on to in this article. I was like, wait, what?
Check that door for heat.
The whole premise, though, is this is all happening in a day, and you can't really capture that magic in a movie with that same each hour is an actual realized hour. It will be easier for the cast. They're not getting haircuts every 5 seconds to make sure they look the same. So there's that. But I do wonder how much people do want this late in the game. When this show was on, I was in high school and I was watching Grey's Anatomy and Will and Grace.
I mean,
so
to
this
that-
was one I wasn't watching.
To your point, though, I was watching it, but I can't even remember. Like, I'm assuming that it's not even like a lot of the smaller characters. I can't even remember all the different nuances of the show over the seasons.
No.
So like jumping into this movie would have to be a whole new, like, in the world of 24, but not Jack Bauer and all those pieces, because like I doubt Tony Almeida is just going to pop up and save the day. I mean, he became a villain anyway. I can't even remember if his character died or not. This is so long ago.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay.
24 movie.
Yeah.
Special 4DX
Yeah.
screening where the seats are in a sphere or like a circle. And
So
you
like the
move
face
like
of
a clock.
Right.
The whole
Just rotating slowly.
Hey, I don't know. This movie shouldn't be made. If you're gonna make this movie, make a movie about, I don't know, this bottle.
There you go.
Is it
24
gonna
bottles.
Be, 24, the 3 hour cut? Like,
Yeah. There's gonna be 12 movies, 2 hours each.
okay.
Yeah. But you know, we have
Strap in, folks.
I think it was
Verizon,
interesting, just real
24.
quick at the top, because you introduced this segment saying like, you know, you went down to your Blockbuster and you rented the first season or whatever.
Yeah.
I have like a similar story, except I was moving in a different direction. It was with Netflix at the time when Netflix was a DVD delivery,
Oh, yeah.
home
yeah,
delivery system.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was going on to Netflix and getting like 6 movies DVDs at a time and going through 24. So we have a little bit similar but different outlet. My
Anyway.
outlet one.
Guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Are you interested in a 24 movie? I mean, for me, and maybe maybe I am being just too stuck on this thing about the fact that it was 24 hours, 24 episodes. But that's the whole DNA of it. I don't know how you do it otherwise without it just being just another throwaway, wannabe reacher. I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. All right. With that down, guys, let's move on to this, shall we? As we mentioned a little bit earlier on, it is now 6 days 6 days until Deadpool and Wolverine comes out in theaters, which I am ridiculously excited about. Obviously, everything we've been hearing about has been spectacular. How good or not good will the movie end up being? We'll find that out in a few days. That said, they put out a trailer the other day that I saw and I loved with what has been my favorite line in any of the trailers so far. When Wolverine referring to Deadpool, yeah, Disney brought him back. They're going to make him do this till he's 90. I just almost died when I heard that line. I just thought it was great. And I said, I think I'm good now. I don't know that I want to see anymore. Well, then this morning, when I see that Ryan Reynolds posted on his YouTube channel what he called Deadpool and Wolverine final trailer. And it wasn't a 1 minute thing. It was like over 2 minutes long. And he said, this is the Deadpool and Wolverine final trailer. I thought, all right, I'll watch this. It's the best trailer they put out so far. I mean, to me, it's the best trailer they put out so far because, you know, we've been talking a lot recently about, yeah, we know Deadpool's going to have the jokes and we know it's going to be funny and we know the action's going to be great, but can they, you know, move beyond just that and also have a great, like the first Deadpool did, have at its core a heartfelt story with emotion. Then we talked the other day about Kevin Feige, who put out this big statement saying this is the most heartfelt R-rated movie you're going to see, that this is actually filled with warmth and heart and emotion and all this kind of stuff. It's like, okay, all right. To back that point up, they drop this new trailer. And it starts, appropriately enough, with Wade saying, I know I make everything a joke, but then it gets serious. And I'm not going to lie to you. When X-23 comes on screen and Hugh Jackman says, I'm the wrong guy. I think that's the line he says. I'm the wrong guy. Mm-hmm. And she turns to him. Now, maybe this is just me because Logan is so special to me. The movie Logan is so special to me. But she turns to him and says, you've always been the wrong guy until you're not. I'm not going to lie. I fucking cried. I did. And then a little bit later, I went out to the living room and Anne was just getting out of a meeting. I'm like, have you seen the new Deadpool trailer yet? She's like, no, okay, sit down and watch it with me. And I play it for her and it gets to that scene again. And I start crying again. I'm like, she's back. She's all grown up now. But I just got
speaks English.
I just got and speaks English very well. Yeah. Very clean English. And I start crying. And then that scene that happened just before it, when like it's like one of the best moments I've seen from Deadpool. He's sitting in the car with Wolverine and he's holding up this picture and he says, it's just 9 people, but this is my whole world. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. He goes, it's just 9 people, but this is my whole world. And I don't know how to save it. And you do. And I felt it. I felt it. It's just so good. And so when they're building all that up and then Wolverine has that conversation, it's like a really good trailer tells its own story. It has a beginning, a middle, and the end. And so that after that moment with Daphne Keane and her saying, you've always been the wrong guy until you aren't. And then it moves on to near the end and says, you ready? He goes, yeah, I'm the Wolverine. I'm like, grrr!
Although I think that was spliced up a little bit. So I don't think
absolutely.
Because that was a different scene, but
100%.
they were selling the point.
But the trailer is telling its own story, right? And I'll tell you then whether I still don't know if that was Ray Parker or not with a little shot of Toad.
Yeah,
which was fine. That's cool to see and everything. Just little things like that.
Sort of looks like him. It's just hard to say.
But I'm just telling you. Look, there have been many movies that I've had no expectations for and ended up loving. There have been many movies, like any movie fan, that I've had big expectations for and walked out disappointed. I don't know because I haven't seen it. I don't know how Deadpool and Wolverine is going to turn out. I don't know. But it is looking like it's going to deliver everything I've wanted in this. Because I've been saying, yeah, we know Ryan Reynolds and his writers, and they're going to be super funny, and it's going to have all that. But can you also bring the heart like that the first Deadpool did? Can you bring that in while you're bringing in Hugh Jackman and not just making it novelty? And all I'm saying is, I'm not saying the movie's going to be awesome, because it might suck. It might suck. I'm just saying right now, from everything I have seen and everything that I have heard, I gotta tell you guys, I think we're in for something really special. I don't think we're just in for a good movie. I think we're in for something really, truly special. And I almost want to go and take like some kind of magic sleeping pill that just puts me under for 5 days, so I can just wake up and go, oh, it's time to go to see Deadpool.
Ketamine.
Wolverine.
I don't want to go off tangent here. But I want to just speak on real quick about the marketing and merchandising for this film. I mean, like, if you have a movie, big or small, and you hit pop culture a little bit enough to get a fan base, you know, your level one merchandising, you're going to get a shirt at Hot Topic. You're going to get a shirt at Hot Topic, Descendants, -1, whatever. You're going to get a shirt there. Then you hit the Walmart and Target, you get shirts there, and then you get figures, and then you get like what Mutant Mayhem did, you get a frozen pizza. But that's where Deadpool separates itself from all the other things. And they got a deal for frozen pizza with DiGiorno, one of the biggest pizza companies ever. And then they have Heineken, right? They got Heineken, the commercials. They got the aviation. They got Jack in the Box. They got
the
Heinz.
Bachelorette.
They got Heinz, Heinz, and man. And then so last night, I was at home and I was like, I'm gonna watch something. I was in a crappy mood. I'll put it on Wheel of Fortune. It wasn't Wheel of Fortune. It was.
I'm dying to know what this has to do with the
No.
Deadpool trailer.
It was Press Your Luck. It was Press Your Luck, right?
All right.
But I caught the ending, and it's a preview of next week. You know, no whammy, no whammy, no whammy.
Yeah.
The whole show next week is not going to be the whammy characters. It's going to be little Wolverines and Deadpools. No Wolvie. They are going to be a part of a game show too. You mean they're all over the place? I mean, this movie is all over the place. It's crazy how much marketing and merchandising there is out there for this movie.
Oh yeah, they're
I
pushing
cannot
a lot.
wait.
But let's focus though
Right.
on this piece of marketing, this trailer. That's what we're here to talk about, is this trailer. So I mean, again, I thought there were so many heartfelt moments, and then in a beautiful Deadpool way, it ends with all this heaviness in the trailer. It ends with pew pew pew, and then the way Wolverine says stop it, and he keeps his hand, just goes pew. So it was perfect. Like that's not just great Deadpool. That's Marvel, right? Heavy, light.
Mm-hmm.
Heavy, light. At least when Marvel is firing in all
And
cylinders.
did you catch that? I just brought it up on screen. That the Deadpool scene from
Wolverine Origin.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, John, you caught that was
Yeah.
actually in the trailer. I thought that was great. Anyway, Chris, you had a chance to see the trailer.
Ugh.
What did you think about it?
It's fantastic. It's wonderful. The original Deadpool is a romance at its heart, right? And that's what this is too. It's about this deep love for your friends and your family, and it happens to also have, Lady Deadpool and pegging jokes and tons of cocaine references. It's filled with heart, but also profanity and nasty, and that's what we're all here for. I love the wrong guy line because it works on so many levels of being this multiverse of what Wolverine's character is like, but even down to the casting of Hugh Jackman. He is the X-Man, right? He is who we associate with Marvel probably above all else, even though it's Fox, right? When we think about Marvel Comics, Wolverine is supposed to be this small, angry dude, and instead it's huge, jacked man, right?
Huge jacked man.
And he has become this character, and he originally wasn't even supposed to be him. It was supposed to be Dougray Scott. So it works on so many levels of having that line in there, that this iconic role that is one of the trademarks of his entire catalog is this part where he was the wrong guy who made sense ultimately. I'm thrilled to see more of Cassandra Nova in this. I love how heartfelt that line of "I've been waiting for this team up for a long time" felt, because it also is, and I know I've said this before, it's two best friends who get to work together on something they've wanted to do for so long.
Yeah.
And you just feel that love there. Even if this movie, and I don't think it will be, but even if it is just an absolute warm fart on a cold toilet seat, I am so excited. I think it's going to be so lovely. I think if they totally just like crap this movie, it's still going to be beautiful.
There's also another great moment none of us have mentioned yet is when Wolverine is like dialoguing and he says that line, Scott wanted me to wear this uniform for a long time. Like,
Storm. He goes
Storm
through him,
and like just to hear him just reference Scott, I thought was like really cool. Again, getting more of Cassandra, getting more of the world and all that kind of stuff. I mean, and of course throwing in that there's going to be a lot of heavy action. You know what? I'm starting to believe that there's a fundamental operating theory I had that might be wrong. I have really felt as deep and as wonderful and maybe emotional this movie could be. I've always said, I don't think it's going to have any real implications to the MCU as a whole, though. Like, I don't think we're going to see like something that shifts the majorly in the MCU. I'm starting to think maybe I was wrong. I'm sorry, you've got a theory?
Well, I've got a contact.
Chris has a theory posed, so.
Just, no, I've got a contact who has been seeing cuts of this film. And I'm going to be in Comic-Con when this comes out. And so I was saying, I'm probably not going to go see it till Saturday. And she let me know, oh, honey, the NDAs are NDAing. Do not be on the internet then if you were going to do this. There's a lot of things happening in this. And she is not a Marvel stan by any means. She is very objective. And I'm very interested to see how this plays into the greater Marvel universe.
Ooh.
I want so badly to say a name.
Don't.
I told you the name, didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
When we
Yeah.
cut to commercial.
Don't. That's
I
special.
want so badly to tell you a
why?
name of who I know is in the film.
You can always say it after.
All right, I'll
As soon as
but
he cuts to, I'm just going to go back to the intro. And I go to the intro.
it's like the person who's definitely appeared in this movie is so yeah, anyway, guys, the trailer, I thought it was absolutely spectacular. 6 days away. Cannot wait for this damn thing. I mean, obviously we're going to be doing an out of theater reaction to this early on Thursday. And then we will have a big open spoiler discussion about it a couple of days after that. But yeah, guys, question is for you. What did you think of this new Deadpool and Wolverine trailer? I think it's the best one they put out so far. And it counteracts like the heavy humor that we've gotten a lot of the other ones, now with the heavy, more emotion and heart and drama. Whatever you guys thought about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, it's time for us to get on to the most important part of our show, which is taking your live comments and questions. I'm sure there's going to be some thoughts about the Wolverine and Deadpool trailer. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second and thank a couple of sponsors of today's episode, our friends at Liquid IV and Gametime. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, Liquid IV. You know, the Summer Olympics are here. I cannot wait for basketball, track and field. Hell, they've even got breakdancing in France this year. And with the Summer Olympics in full swing, hydration is key for athletes and fans. Liquid IV is extraordinary hydration for physical endurance, mental clarity, and overall well-being. A single stick of Liquid IV delivers better hydration than water alone, with 3 times the electrolytes of the leading sports drink, plus 8 vitamins and nutrients. One of the things I love about Liquid IV is how easy it is for me to prepare. All I have to do is tear, pour, and enjoy. In the heat of the summer, whether you're out golfing, out walking, or just sitting on the back patio, you need to stay hydrated, and that's where Liquid IV comes in clutch. Liquid IV is the #1 powdered hydration brand in America, and it comes in 4 delicious sugar-free flavors: white peach, green grape, raspberry melon, and lemon lime. So turn your ordinary water into extraordinary hydration with Liquid IV. Get 20% off your first order of Liquid IV when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code CAMPEA at checkout. That's 20% off your first order when you shop Better Hydration today using promo code CAMPEA at liquidiv.com. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Gametime. My wife Ann and I love going to events, whether they're comedy shows, concerts, an LA Lakers game. I mean, just the other night we went to go see Ronnie Chang and it was awesome. We love having these new experiences and new memories. And our sponsor Gametime makes getting tickets for concerts and events faster and easier, even if you don't buy tickets right away. Because prices on the Gametime app actually go down the closer you get to the show start time. With killer last minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Gametime takes the guesswork out of buying event tickets. I couldn't believe how easy and most importantly, intuitively, the entire app works. Finding the event I was looking for couldn't have been easier. The way it lays out the map of the venue, letting you know exactly where the seats are that you're looking for, and how easy the process was to choose and buy those tickets. So don't worry if you think you're too late to get tickets to that big event you and your friend want to go to. They have last minute deals. Save up to 60% off buying last minute for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, whatever. So guys, take the guesswork out of buying concert tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use the code CAMPEA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CAMPEA, C-A-M-P-E-A, for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed. And thank you to our friends at Liquid IV and Gametime for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. Okay, guys, with that down, let's get to the important stuff. Your comments and questions. Jonathan, what we got up first?
Duck Duck is here.
Oh, from Duck Duck. Buenos tardes. That was one, if not the best episode of The Boys. Overall, one of the weaker seasons for me, but we still got stuff like episode 5, 7, and 8. Where all storylines ended was great, but the lead up could be a bit boring at times. 7 out of 10, thumbs up.
I don't know. At the beginning of the season, I was a little put off by the whole Huey's dad storyline. I'm like, what are they? This is kind of meandering until the payoff came with the death of Huey's dad. And I'm like, okay, all of that was worth it. Like, all of that was worth it. I have actually loved the whole Sister Sage build up and everything. I got to tell you, it's not my favorite of the Boys season so far, but it's up there. I had a really good time with it. All right, what's next?
Audie.
From Audie Ash, I work at Regal and we're selling our Deadpool buckets and other merch on Tuesday. Wow. I would assume other theaters on a similar timeline. They'll sell out faster than you think. So get your filthy buckets now, people.
Okay, so I was told the 23rd. So tomorrow's the 20th.
Yeah, it is.
Sunday 21st. So yeah, 23rd.
Yeah,
so
23rd
yeah.
is Tuesday.
Yeah, I told you guys last week that I heard they would start selling the stuff on the 23rd, which is apparently the Tuesday. So it looks like I'm going to have to buy tickets to some movie on Tuesday just so I can get in there and get a Deadpool bucket.
With you can tack on things to your current, if you're on A-list or whatever for AMC, I'm assuming you can tack on food after the fact if you want to do it that way to your movie.
What do you mean?
But does that mean you get the bucket though?
To get the bucket, because you order.
Oh yeah,
the bucket.
but I don't know if they're going to make the buckets orderable until the 23rd.
Right.
So the 23rd is going to come. I'm going to have to book a ticket and also get my bucket.
Gotcha.
There.
Yeah.
20 per theater, I think. That's what that person was saying. They were only getting 20.
I can't imagine.
No. They didn't say they were only getting 20 buckets per theater. They said they had a whole bunch of merchandise. Some things were only 20 per
only 20
theater.
pieces.
They
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
specify it was only 20 buckets per theater.
They want to make money, man. They ain't
Yeah.
gonna sell 20.
All right, what's next?
From Pacific
McRim.
McRim. Hello, Campea crew. Second time tipper, very long time fan. Formerly Santa with muscles. First 2 episodes of Kite Man series dropped today. 5 minutes in, laughed maybe 7 times. A kite's not a superpower. Kids have kites, and I could beat the shit out of kids.
I loved that line.
Why'd they get a direct quote from me?
So Ann and I didn't watch the second episode. I only watched the first because we were heading out. But I did watch the first episode of Kite Man. What is great, I don't know if you saw it, the way they named the episodes. Every episode has a name, dash hell yeah.
Aw,
So like buying the bar, hell yeah. Finding a friend, hell yeah. That's the, I'm making up but I remember all the episode names are something, hell yeah.
I like that.
Which is great. I thought it was a strong start. I only saw the first episode, but I thought it was a strong start. Do I think it's as good or as funny as, say, Harley Quinn? No, I don't think it's at that level yet. But I thought it was a pretty decent start. But yeah, kites are kids, and I can beat the shit out of kids. And then his girlfriend, yeah, he can. Oh my god, I thought it was a pretty good start. We'll see if it gets better or gets worse. All right, what's next?
From Paul Dean. Hi, John and Co. I noticed something in The Boys episode 7. If I remember correctly, the shapeshifters shedding the skin was similar to how the shapeshifters copied people in Supernatural. In episode 8, wow, what a season finale. Thanks for all you guys do.
Yeah, we actually talked about that on the show a couple days ago. That, like, I remember because somebody wrote that in that same thing. I'm like, I'm glad somebody else noticed that because, like, that's how Eric Kripke handled shapeshifters in Supernatural. A little more gruesomely in The Boys, granted. But yeah, and the finale was, I mean, I'm so bummed that Newman's dead. And Mallory's dead, and so many dead people. So many dead people. All right, what's next?
From Darth Grant. Hey, John and crew. My question revolves around your looming retirement. A few months back to maybe a year ago, when you first brought it up, you said you would maybe do a once-a-week podcast post-retirement. Is that still under consideration?
Yeah,
Thanks.
I'll still see myself doing that. Like when I do that, I think what I will still do is maybe even a couple of times a week, but the podcast will be audio only. So I can see myself a couple times a week doing audio only podcast because that's a lot easier. And I can literally travel anywhere in the world as long as I got my mic and my laptop. I can just record an audio podcast. So yeah, that will probably still be something that I do so I can be on the road and do it and stuff like that. So that's probably, that will probably be on the books. All right, what's next?
From Butt Scratcher. Not sure if y'all have mentioned this, but what percentage chance would you give McAvoy and Fassbender showing up in Deadpool?
I wouldn't count it out. It's one of those things where I both would not count on it and I would not count it out. So I'll 40%. I say 40% that we see McAvoy and Fassbender in this. What about you, Chris? What do you think the chances are that either of them show up?
25, just because this is already so many people, but because Hugh did work with them and everything, I think that stands to have them be in there.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
From Anonymous, I can go into a shop and buy a bottled protein drink or smoothie, and I'm surprised cinemas don't sell them. Admittedly, I am a health fanatic, so I only get water. Also, coming from the UK, I've never heard of putting butter in popcorn. Is that a new thing?
Yeah, that's the funny thing is like I've watched
they
British
don't
people
put butter
react
on their
to
popcorn in Britain?
Yeah, they see like sometimes they salt it, and I'm like, my God, is it the weather over there? Why are you guys so gloomy? Put butter on popcorn. Do it.
No, because you just broke my brain. Popcorn is a butter delivery device. Without butter, there is no need for popcorn. Again, I'm one of these guys that I will pour a ton of, look, if I get a large bucket of popcorn, the first thing I do is I go to the garbage can and I dump a little bit of it out to lower the amount of popcorn in there so that I can cover the top in butter and then do the rotate so the popcorn rotates in without falling out, then put more butter, shake, rotate, more butter. As soon as I'm not tasting butter, I get out of the theater and I go put on more butter. How is there popcorn without butter?
What I do is, those little foldable like cardboard boxes. I have them grab me one of those, and then I do, instead of pouring it out, I pour it in that. And then I mix it around.
Oh, smart.
All right, what's next?
From Dave. After seeing all the Emmy nominations Shogun has received, it made me reflect again how incredible and masterful that show was. That being said, I think I'm scarred for life from that one scene in the first episode. I can't think of a worse way to perish.
It's one of them. It's up there. I mean, there's worse
Boil
ways,
'em.
I'm sure. But
Boiling alive is horrible, but what if you were deep fried instead, my friend?
be
It
quicker.
would
That would be
end
worse.
faster. It would probably end. You'd probably die
Yeah,
faster.
but like, ugh.
Oh.
I mean, it's along there with Peeled Alive. It's just like, it's
Yeah.
just gruesome and awful.
So what did they say? What was it? It led most Emmy nominated. It was 26.
26.
I think so, yeah.
26 Emmy nominations, including Best Series, Best Lead Actor, Best Lead Actress, Best Writing, Best Directing, all that kind of stuff. They're going to win a lot. I don't know that they're going to sweep everything, but they're going to win a lot of awards. They're going to win a lot of awards.
Mm-hmm.
And for those of you who missed it too, I still think it's amazing that Fallout got nominated for Best Drama Series. I think that's huge. And I know a lot of people are going to be very excited that X-Men 97 got nominated. It's one and only nomination, but it did get nominated for Best Animated Series. You weren't here for this yesterday, Chris, but I'm thrilled that it got a nomination. I don't think it has any chance in hell at winning. I think Blue Eyed
25,
Samurai's got that kind of
Blood
locked up.
Samurai was really great. I don't know. Both are really, really good. just a larger question here right now, because Fallout is up for drama. The Bear is a comedy. Cats and dogs living together.
Yeah.
What is happening with genres right now?
I mean, I feel like we have to bring this up ever since The Bear came out. Every time awards season comes around, it's like you're putting The Bear under. There are some
There's
laughs.
comedic moments for sure.
There are some laughs in The Bear. Yeah.
Every beautiful moment with Maddie Matheson, chef's kiss.
You guys
It's
weren't
not
dying
a
when
comedy.
they had all those panic attacks and mental breakdowns. I was like, ah!
Doing laps in my own house in the Seven Fishes
I'm like,
episode.
that's so
Oh my
funny.
God, that episode.
So
But-
triggering.
But that is not a comedy. I still don't get it. Anyway. All right, what's next?
From Luis Lianos. I watched the original Twister movie a couple of days ago, and it was okay. I'm looking forward to watching Twisters after hearing good reviews about it. I'm 26, so I guess I'm too young to understand what made the original Twister special.
I don't think age has anything to do with it. Listen, I don't think the original Twister was all that special either. I looked, somebody looked at me a little sideways and I said, this new one, Twisters, is better than the original Twister. And somebody looked at me like, how could you say that? Because it is. I mean, look, I'm sorry. All due respect to the awesome Bill Paxton. The original Twister's not that good.
It was just,
It was a fun little film.
Yeah, and we were hit with and I get Ray loves disaster films, but in the 90s, we were hit with a glut of natural disaster films.
Yes.
But-
so we were just like, okay.
Or was that the only tornado one? Twister. It was, right?
Yeah.
It may have been the first
Yeah.
movie about a tornado. That's what probably made it special.
And again, I like the movie. Don't get me wrong, I'm not trashing the original Twister. Helen Hunt, Bill Paxton. Listen, I like that movie. I do, but it's not that good.
Yeah, I'm not like, oh man, I gotta have Twisters on this weekend. Gotta watch that. Nah.
All right. What's next?
From NY lawyer Nick. Assuming that Gotham has adopted a similar legal system to that of a U.S. city, a solid argument can be made that Batman's actions are legal. Example, citizens are permitted to use force to terminate or prevent a dangerous felony that threatens human life. And also, Gotham is basically New Jersey, so
Yeah.
hey, do what you want to do, buddy.
Now, there is what Batman does is very different from what citizens are allowed to do.
You're not stepping in the heat of the moment, like, oh, let me stop this crime.
Yeah, there are moments of Batman's activity that could fall under, that's legally protected action that he's taking.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's not pretend like it would be okay to run around and be Batman.
Those batons he'll kind of use to beat people up, those are illegal. Owning one is a felony.
Let's not even get into the Batmobile.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not illegal. That's not street legal. Not street legal.
it's not registered.
All right, what's next?
Here we go.
From Anonymous. Hey, John and crew. Did you see that Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman made an appearance as Deadpool and Wolverine in the new Stray Kids music video, Chick Chick Boom? May not be your style of music, but seeing Wolverine attempt to be a weatherman is hilarious. I'm so excited because I'm actually going to a K-pop night tonight, and we just watch a whole bunch of K-pop music videos, and my friend introduces us to different artists, and I'm so stoked to watch this.
I don't even know what Chick Chick Boom is.
What is that? Is that
It's a
K-pop?
song.
Oh,
It's a song
okay.
by this band called the Stray Kids. Or
Okay,
Stray
Stray
Kids, not
Kids.
the Stray Kids.
They are finding so many different ways to promote this film. It is. I
kinda
still
feels like
remember
the
the
last
first
ride.
time that first
Crazy.
Heineken commercial killed me. When he's like, Deadpool or Wolverine realized Deadpool took his adamantium to make Heineken cans. They've just been the Bachelorette thing. Anyway,
Everything.
all right, what's next?
From Dr. Stinky. Hey, crew. Been a while. Sorry about that. Also, hi, Chris. Hi, Dr. Stinky. Anyway, we are only 6 days away from Deadpool, and for that, I wanted to ask each of you, what are your top 3 Ryan Reynolds films?
3.
For me,
No, we're not doing top 3 lists.
well,
We're
there's
not-
our Deadpool, Buried, and then Just Friends. Love y'all. Bring on the filthy.
You know, I've never seen Buried. I'm too. It just feels like it's too claustrophobic.
I can't
Yeah,
watch
no,
it for that
if
exact
it-
same reason.
It is a brilliant movie. Which settles any arguments. Like, is Ryan Reynolds only able to do Ryan Reynolds, or can he do? No. It's just there's a couple of films. Dead or Buried is right at the top of that list. If you want to see how good of an actor Ryan Reynolds is, and it's a wonderful movie, but it won't be an easy watch for some people.
Yeah, I mean,
especially if you got claustrophobic issues.
I can't even watch movies or documentaries of people that go into caves and they get stuck in there and can never come out.
Nope.
They just die buried alive. I'm just like literally have a panic attack. No, can't do it.
What would you say is your favorite Ryan Reynolds movie?
Ooh, okay. This is, I don't know if it's my favorite. I love Just Friends. I truly do. I watch
I
every
I mean, that
Christmas.
movie's great.
Just
I
Friends.
love
That
it
movie's
so
great.
much.
I love that movie.
When that movie came out, when I got my wisdom teeth out, and my mom would put on that song and make me do "I Swear" with my teeth all
Forgiveness.
pulled up.
Oh no, I thought you were gonna say
Oh
forgiveness.
no, she would make me do that. I swear, because my face was all puffy and round. But underrated film, definitely maybe. I think that is a fabulous
a
movie.
brilliant movie.
Yeah.
That is that should not be underrated. Well, that's the definition of
Yeah.
underrated. It is
a
a
good one.
fabulous movie. I mean, Free Guy,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely fantastic.
It's not necessarily a Ryan Reynolds like vehicle, but Smoking Aces was good.
Oh, great movie.
I like Smoking
I had a fun
Aces.
time with that.
Yep.
I've loved him since Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. Yeah,
Oh,
he's
what's that
perfect.
one he
Waiting.
did?
Waiting.
Waiting is so good.
Waiting is kind of classic.
Oh,
Why am I forgetting the name of the
Proposal.
dude?
Oh,
what's he been in?
Blade
dude.
Trinity.
Oh, the dude? Oh, Jeff Bridges.
Yeah, that great movie he did with
R.I.P.D..
Jeff Bridges. R.I.P.D. That's right.
R.I.P.D..
All-time classic.
Oh boy.
All-time classic.
I think I was introduced to Ryan Reynolds in Van Wilder.
Yeah.
That was my
Well, as a
People got him.
Canadian, he also did Two Guys, a Girl, in a Pizza
Yeah,
Shop.
which was fantastic.
yeah, but I saw Van Wilder 1st, so
But it's Deadpool. Deadpool's my favorite Ryan Reynolds movie. So, all right, what's next?
From Nick V, one of two. Hey, Campea crew, my birthday is Sunday.
Oh, happy
early
birthday.
And I can't wait to see Deadpool and Wolverine for my birthday week. Last year, Barbenheimer landed on my birthday,
Oh, nice.
and next year, Fantastic Four lands on the 25th.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
If there's one thing I always look forward to this time of year, it's having a great time at the movies to cure my crippling depression and existential dread. Same, buddy.
That is a direct line from something. A crippling depression and existential dread. I'm trying to remember what that is a direct line from something. At any rate, it's funny because Anne, we were talking about Deadpool the other day. She goes, and then after Deadpool, there's nothing. I'm like, actually, I'm now getting pretty excited for this alien
movie, yeah.
this alien Romulus movie. I'm getting so stoked about that.
and after that, I'm looking forward to Beetlejuice now. Especially
Yeah.
after that second trailer,
When does Beetlejuice come out?
September, I think.
September, but there's not a lot coming out in August, is there?
Not a whole lot. It starts to slow down.
I'm gonna have to go over and look at the release calendar.
It's
All
because
right.
everyone has to focus on me and Ray having birthdays.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, that's the
That's
big
what they
thing.
did. Yeah. That
Hollywood's
was
like,
really
hold
nice
up,
of them.
hold up.
Yeah. Yeah. Leo Virgo season, baby. All right. From Red One Real Talk. Benevolent, caring, hopeful. Oh, the boys nearly had me duped there. I almost thought we'd made a breakthrough in this show, but that finale just proves that there's always a dark twist to be had in this series.
Oh,
I
yeah.
need more ASAP.
Yeah, that's the thing that sucks about shows when they're great, especially in the streaming world. Because before on cable television, when a show you love come to an end, you're like 7 months away from the next season starting. On streaming, you could meet a girl, get married, get pregnant, have a kid, and celebrate its first birthday by the time the next season comes out. I wish I was exaggerating, but what's the wait been like for Severance? I
Ooh.
mean, it's literally been years and years. It's going to be 3 years in between season debuts.
Do we know anything about season 3 of House of the Dragon? Are they going to be like it's in 2 years?
Oh, I had no idea.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll find out. I'm sure they'll make some announcements after the finale. But I mean, that's the thing that sucks about The Boys is like I watched last episode. Oh, it's so great, so great. Oh, I'm not going to be able to watch another episode probably for a year and a half or 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, that part sucks. That part sucks.
It'll turn into a theme, man.
Okay, by the way, I just opened up
Sorry.
the calendar. So, first of all, on August 2nd, Trap is coming out, which I'm actually very excited about. I'm really looking forward to Trap. That's the new M. Night movie.
Oh, with,
With, Josh
Hartnett. Okay,
Hartnett.
yeah, that looks great.
Yeah, that looks really fun. Borderlands comes out on August 9th. I don't have a lot of hope for that movie, but I am intrigued.
I'm gonna watch it.
I
I'm gonna
I
see
am
it.
looking forward to watching it. I don't have a lot of hope for it, but I am looking forward to watching it. Then there's that new Blake Lively movie that I think looks really good called It Ends With Us.
Ooh.
That looks good. Then we move on to, I think it's August 16th, where we've got the new horror film. Oh, no, that's not a horror film. Sorry. What am I talking about? So Alien Romulus comes out. That is basically a horror film. And My Penguin Friend, which they really pushed at CinemaCon. So I'm thinking I want to check it out.
It looks
And
so cute.
That's so-
it is
Ta-da.
currently still listed as a limited release for Horizon American Saga Chapter 2.
Yeah, I don't know about
Yeah,
that.
that's not going to happen. Yeah, so we got August has still got a number of things lined up for us to see. All right, sorry about that. What's next?
From Eddie Burton. So with some real subpar trailers, beyond poor ad campaigns, and the release date just around the corner, is it safe to say the Borderlands movie is going to be the biggest bomb of the summer? Or maybe top 5?
I think it's going to be the biggest bomb of the summer. In relation to budget and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they just haven't. Yeah, there are clearly going to be movies that make less money, but it's been a horrible marketing campaign. They have not gotten awareness out there about it. The stuff great, they showed us some stuff at CinemaCon that caught my eye a little bit, but their trailers I don't think have been great. They've really just made this movie look like a poor man's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Exactly.
But I'm hoping after Fallout, because Fallout was a game I've never really touched, and then Borderlands, I'm hoping it turns out to be at least a decent movie.
I hope so, because listen, I like Eli. I am unapologetic about this. I really like Eli Roth, and I hope this movie is great. And they got arguably a top 3 greatest actress of all time, Kate Beckinsale's in this movie.
Blanchett.
Kate
Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett, sorry. No, I am not saying I like Kate Beckinsale.
Kate
I like
Beckinsale, also amazing. But
who is
Kate
also
Blanchett.
wonderful, and I really like Kate Beckinsale, but Kate Blanchett, I like arguably top 3 greatest actress in the history of film, is in this movie. I really want to love it. I hope I'm pleasantly surprised for it, but Chris, I got to tell you right now, I'm not going in with high expectations.
Same boat. Well, because there's 2 promises that I've been given here. Eli Roth, who I'm not a big horror person, as you all know, but I expect a certain amount of blood and gore, and Borderlands, which I expect a certain amount of stylized blood and gore. And this did feel like we have Guardians of the Galaxy at home. You know, it just feels like a kind of Kirkland knockoff right now. And I hope it's not, because Borderlands is fantastic. It is so bombastic and wild and weird.
I definitely am going to see it.
I'm just going to see it.
Yeah,
but
I'm
right
gonna
now,
see
I'm
it
just
too.
not particularly jazzed about it.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
From Matan. After being a doomer on Marvel directors yesterday, I hope that Wolf's will be good to show that John Watts wasn't stuck in the Marvel machine for nothing.
Yeah.
When looking back, No Way Home is the movie equivalent of empty calories. It's all key jingling.
Oh, I disagree. Yeah, I disagree. It was no, I don't think it was the best of the Spider-Man movies, but I thought it was really good.
I love that movie.
The death of Aunt May in it was absolutely moving. The tying off, if you will, of some dangling storylines that we got, and some wondering about whatever happened to the Tobey Maguire, what happened to the Andrew Garfield one. The fact that Andrew Garfield's still struggling, after the death of
Gwen Stacy.
I was going to say of Emma Stone, of Gwen Stacy. And that whole speech of his, I just realized at some point I stopped pulling my punches. That might be my favorite line in Spider-Man No Way Home. At some point I stopped pulling my punches.
It's my favorite line and why I want a movie.
Yeah, well.
Why does no one want me to have the things I want?
But no, it was
doesn't fit in
again.
the
Do I think
budget.
it's one of the
It's rude,
great?
Jonathan. It's
Do I
rude.
think Spider-Man Home is a top 10 all-time comic book film?
Yeah,
no,
you said that. Yes. Oh,
no, I don't. But I think it's a great movie, and
Yeah, it's
You know,
fun. It's so
$2.8
fun.
billion dollars of people wanted to go back
Yeah.
and see it again and again for a reason.
I love it.
All right, what's next?
From
we'll just call him Chewy.
Chewbacca.
Why, what did this say? Chewbacca.
That's great. Well done, buddy. Saw Twisters last night in 4DX with the water effect on, John.
Yeah, man.
Because real men don't mind a little face water spray from their 4DX seats. JK. But man, was Twisters 4DX a fun, immersive experience. Y'all need to try it at least once.
Did you end up turning your water off?
I did before the movie even started. They got a big button on the seat that says "Turn water on,"
What?
"Turn
Oh,
water
yeah.
off."
I don't
What
want
were
that
your
dirty
guys'
water
favorite?
on
Like,
me.
obviously the chairs move, but what were your favorite immersive things
There
they
was like a
did?
grass smell in the beginning.
Yeah, when she's in this grass,
Which is
there's
crazy.
a wind in the theater, and there's literally a very subtle grass smell in it, and it was like,
Like
This
you're on
is-
Soren.
That's cool.
No,
yeah,
but
sort of like that.
yeah, she's out in a plain, the field.
yeah, she's standing out in a field, and the wind's blowing across the
Yeah,
grass,
it's
and
just
there's
like
a little bit
cool.
of smell in it.
I wouldn't be able to enjoy that.
Oh.
Now,
Yeah.
now I would say I was still able to experience a little bit because I was getting a little bit of the residual like mist in the air that came from my neighbor's seats. So I still like when they were splashing through something, I got a little bit of that in the air. But
That happens
for
to me in
me,
regular
it's when
theaters
they're
too.
barreling over, driving through fields, when they're driving their truck through fields and the whole
Yeah.
seats are going,
Yeah.
it actually, like when they did it, when they're moving the seats during the Deadpool trailer, like this doesn't feel immersive. This feels distracting.
Yeah.
But when their characters are in the cars and driving through the fields and they're bounding up and down, and you are too, that's when it crossed that threshold for me and actually felt like I was immersed in it. I felt like I was in the car with them.
The lightning was cool.
The lightning effects were also really
Every now
like
and
they
then
literally
those
had
strobes.
lights in the theater flashing with lightning, and
But I thought they should have had more smoke. They had like that little fog that came out in the front.
I thought any more you risk
Yeah, covering
starting
the screen.
you risk
Yeah,
starting to
I
impede
get
your
it.
view of the screen,
I
right?
get it.
So it's just a little bit, just a subtle amount. All right, what's next?
From Matan again, unpopular opinion.
Yeah.
You know what? It's time to move on. I'm done with Matan.
Matan.
All right, what's next?
Thank you very much for your tip, Matan. We appreciate that. From BBD Lady Killer in James Gunn's DCU, Batman, age 29, Nightwing, 18, freshman in college, and still leader of Teen Titans. Robin, age 8. Damian Wayne. This gives us an experienced Batman with room for growth who can be close in age to our new soups we can have for a decade or so. Your thoughts?
I say keep that question up there. I say, in James Gunn's DCU Batman age, who said his Batman's going to be 29? Now you're proposing that Batman is 29. Can you bring that back up again? And Nightwing is 18, freshman in college, still leader of Teen Titans. I don't think I want a 29-year-old Batman. I'm really attached now to the idea of the little bit more battle-tested, little bit more world-wise Batman. I'm not saying Batman needs to be 50, but I don't think I want a 29-year-old Batman, to be honest with you. I think I want my Batman a little more experienced. Like the story they're telling with Robert Pattinson in Matt Reeves' Batman, you're literally telling the story of a guy who is learning it. Like he's learning the ropes here. I don't think we want a Batman in the DCU, though, that's just the new kid on the block. I think we want the Batman who's already a legend in that world.
Yeah.
So
No
I don't know.
baby
That's
Batman.
what's that?
No baby Batman for you.
Yeah, I don't want Batman babies.
Also,
Yeah.
I don't want a 29-year-old adopting all these teenagers. You're
Yeah.
you're barely a person. Is your frontal lobe fully formed? Like you're still figuring out your life, Bruce. Come on. Grow up a little bit and then you can start
Baby
adopting
Bruce.
all these children.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
From Colin Robinson, that Agatha show got some big shoes to fill. The trailer looked cheesy. WandaVision was fire, but do I want to go back to Westview? I hope it has us geeking out with theories. It'll be fun if we actually get Mephisto in this thing. Over under 50%, John.
I'm not going to lie to you. I really like the Agatha trailer.
I
I
loved
liked
it.
it a lot. It's exactly what I wanted it to be. I love, because the reason I've been excited about when I've had a distinct lack of being excited about a number of Marvel projects, the reason I've been excited about this one is because I love that character in WandaVision. I loved the Agatha character, and I wanted to see a show built around that character. And to me, that trailer did it. And I'm not going in it looking for a Deadpool and Wolverine. I'm not going in it looking for a Civil War. I'm not looking for a high action show. I want to see a really good fun show based around this character and kind of expanding our understanding of this universe they live in with witches and all that kind of stuff. And I don't care what anybody else says. I thought it looked really good, and I'm actually quite excited to watch it. Not as excited as I am for, Superman, or as excited as I am for Deadpool and Wolverine, but I'm excited for it. Where's your thoughts been on this Agatha thing?
Oh, I was pretty excited once I saw the trailer. Before all the name changing and everything, I was getting kind of annoyed with this of, what are we doing? Do we know what this show is going to be? The trailer got me much more energized about this. And I also love Catherine Hahn, and the rest of this cast
Yeah.
looks incredible.
All right, what's next?
From Private Pile. When I was little, I used to go in my dad's room and watch TV with him. He watched Full Metal Jacket and would reminisce on his military life, and I would just be dying laughing from all the cussing. I had to be like 8. That drill sergeant was ruthless. I loved it.
Terrifying at 8, man.
I love that he got a big kick out of it then. I was like, this
Yeah.
is great.
I just laughed at all the cursing. Listen, one of my favorite things about movies, and I know I say this often, but it's so true, is particularly when you watch movies with somebody else. Movies, I always say, are, at their heart, movies are experiential events. And most experiences, movies, sex, whatever, are best when they're shared. Shared experiences, movies create these great shared experiences and create like lifelong memories. And like most of the big movies that I've seen in my life, I remember exactly who I saw it with and exactly what we talked about afterwards. And when having really solid shared experiences is great, particularly when you think, like, I often talk about going to see the first Michael Keaton Batman film with my best friend Brendan, right? Like that's a core memory. I remember the first time I saw Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, and exactly who I was with. And when those ones are also connected to family, it's even more special. So I love that. I love that you've got that memory. All right, what's next?
All the family talk and then connecting it to sex made me just...
How do you
I'm
think?
just saying.
How do you
My
think
brain-
families are made?
A stork drops off a baby, Jonathan.
And those are shared experiential events.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
All right,
Okay.
what's next?
From Sam Fisher, with the return of the Conclave, I really hope Ralph Fiennes wins his Oscar. He's the best actor in the world without one. And I always get a sense of pride when you say that because I was the one who pointed out to you after Old Man won for Darkest Hour.
Maybe, well, yeah, I think you, I mean, I would have said that regardless. I mean, I think Ralph Fiennes is one of the greatest actors in the world. Going even back to like something like The English Patient. I mean, he's simply one of the finest actors in the world. And the fact that he doesn't have an Academy Award is crazy and just really kind of denotes how hard it is to win an Academy Award. I don't think Conclave is going to be the one that gets it for him, although, man, they showed us an awesome preview for it at CinemaCon. And I also, you know what, they dropped a new trailer for it, and I had totally forgotten about the movie. And then I was like, oh yeah, this movie, I remember this looks great. It's like, it's a murder mystery in the Vatican. I mean, it looks amazing. I can't wait to see it, but I hope he does get it sometime. I just don't know if this is the movie he's going to win it for. All right, what's next?
From Anonymous, sending in a $20 tip.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Who are your favorite recurring guest characters in The Office and Parks and Rec? In The Office, I love Mose. Also, Nate cracks me up in later seasons. In Parks and Rec, I love Catherine Hahn's character, Jen Barkley. She's so dang funny. Jen Barkley is a queen. Jen Barkley is who I want to be when I grow up. I love her.
Oh, Mose is his brother, right? The younger brother
Cousin.
at the
Cousin.
cousin.
It's
Yeah.
Dwight's cousin.
cousin. Oh yeah.
Yep. So, who is the guy from Anchorman that was Mike as the salesman that kept showing it? David Kocher?
Yeah,
Is
his
that
character's name is Todd Packard.
Tad Packer.
And he's
That's
like
right.
the worst human in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Traveling
the worst,
salesman. Todd's a
worst
dick.
person in the world. So Packer showing up was always fun. But yes, what's Catherine Hahn's character's name again?
Jen Barkley.
Okay.
Poncho.
I right from the beginning when she first shows up as the person running the campaign for Paul Rudd, and like she's so like sincere when she's talking to to Leslie and
Ben?
to Leslie and Ben, and like, oh, you should do this. No, you can't, because if you do that, I'm going to do this. But then what you could do is that, and she's like, just saying, like, hey, we're playing this political game, whatever. But my favorite line from Jen in the entire series is the election is just about over, and she runs into Rob Lowe, whose character's name is Chris.
Yes, Chris Traeger.
Yeah, Chris Traeger. She runs into Rob Lowe, and she's like, and Rob's like, I'm not sure I can be talking to you. You're the enemy. She goes like, the election's over. She goes, you want to go up to one of the empty rooms and have sex? He's like, what? And she goes, and then her line is, I'm really good at it. And then he's like, okay. And then they go running up the stairs. That
I
was
love
like
her.
one of the best lines she's ever had. She's so good in that show.
I just love all the stuff in the future when Leslie and Ben have their triplets and she is so disgusted by them. because I have friends who have kids. I love them. I love being able to see them and leave. Kids are not for me. And when she shows up with her poncho, and one of the kids just gets her with a bunch of food and stuff, and she just screams poncho. Oh, it's the best.
All right, what's next?
From Anonymous again, or another Anonymous. Hey, John, I've waited nearly 9 years to tell you this, so listen, buddy. That kid. But Chewbacca being crushed by the moon was effing badass. He was a hero, and he went down in a blaze of glory. So, ha!
Yeah, I'm glad you felt that way. So for many of you who do not know this, one of the standing proof of concepts that many things prior to Disney buying Star Wars, many things in the Star Wars EU needed to go, that the EU in general needed to go, was you do realize they killed Chewbacca by hitting him with the moon. Literally. They hit him with the moon, with Chewbacca going, "Rah," and then the moon hit him, and then he died. The approach was the right approach to wipe out the EU because it was so inconsistent. Like anybody who worries about canon, EU was a mess, like a total mess, which is part of the reason why George Lucas had those different levels of canon. There's only one real level of canon, that was G level canon, but then they had all these other different levels of canon because the EU was a canonical disaster, an absolute mess disaster with a lot of stupid stuff in it. But there was also some gold, which is why one of the good things that Disney kind of did, and listen, they made mistakes in the translation for sure, but one of the good things was the idea that, okay, the EU is out, but it is available to any of our filmmakers who want to pick good stuff that was out of it, like Grand Admiral Thrawn, and bring it into actual Star Wars canon. It's all available there. And they have done that periodically here and there by reaching into the EU and pulling things out. But the EU itself was an absolute unmitigated disaster. And with some really good stuff in there, but that was being choked out by all the, contradictory nonsense that was interwoven through the whole thing. So yeah, it was a good move. It was a good move. All right, what's next?
From Luke Stockton. For those wanting to keep from Deadpool and Wolverine spoilers, don't watch the new trailer that came out today. Whoops. Some characters were revealed, but man, does it give a good view of the emotion and heart of the film. I can't wait for this movie.
Listen, I need to say this again so people understand this. Anything in a trailer is not a spoiler. A spoiler, by definition, is any piece of information, visual or audio, that alters the viewing experience as intended by the filmmakers. It's a piece of information that will fundamentally alter your viewing experience as intended by the filmmakers. If the filmmakers put a piece of information in the trailer, then it's not a spoiler, because it's not something that they wanted kept from you. It is by definition what it is. Like, what are you going to say? Oh, that F1 trailer with Brad Pitt filled with spoilers because we see Brad Pitt getting in a car. I didn't want to know that. Like, at some point, there is information that has to be available in marketing. And anything that filmmakers deem to put into marketing is by definition not a spoiler. And listen, I understand. Here's the funny thing about spoilers and why spoilers are so tricky for us as film fans is that everybody has a different definition of a spoiler, right? To some people, like me, a spoiler is only a paramount thing in a movie. That Bruce Willis was dead all along in Sixth Sense. That, granted, if I had found that out before seeing the movie, yes, that's a spoiler because that fundamentally changes the way I perceive the entire movie. Finding out that Glenn Powell gives a pizza to a girl in Twisters. I didn't want to know that. It's not a spoiler. They actually show a clip of that in one of the trailers. That's not a spoiler. But there are some people who, like, any tiny piece of information from a movie is spoiler. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not a spoiler. But I didn't want to know anything. Then why the fuck are you on the internet right now?
Yeah.
If you don't want to, like literally, I had some people writing to me this morning saying, well, John, thanks for the spoiler in the title that X-23 is. It's fucking in a trailer.
And we got to talk about it.
If you literally don't even want to know about what's in trailers, you need to get your ass off the internet, because that's on you. It's in a trailer that the filmmakers deem to be not something that will fundamentally change the way we see the film, and they decided to use that piece of the movie as in marketing and put in the. It's not a spoiler.
If they want to know, wait till next week. Wait till Wednesday, Thursday on. You guys better stay off the internet if you don't want to know anything.
Oh, yeah.
Again, listen, it's one thing to say you don't want to know things that the filmmakers themselves are trying to keep secret. Mm-hmm. I get that. Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. Like an ending or whatever.
Yeah, but there's something in the movie that actually, from what we understand, there's a ton of shit that they're trying to keep secret from us, which is great. But when the filmmakers decide, yeah, this can go into the trailer, that is, by definition, no longer a spoiler. And if you don't even want to know what's in a trailer, not only do you need to keep your ass off the internet, you need to pull the blinds down on your windows, lock your doors, and get under a blanket and just piss into a bottle and stay there for the next 6 days.
The Rock.
Just going to become the aviator?
Aviator.
Like, that's what you need. If you don't even want to know what's in the trailers, why the fuck are you coming to an online movie discussion show? Anyway, just had to vent there for a second. All right, what's next?
But thank you for trying to look out for people who feel that way. That's nice.
for
And
sure.
Good job, Luke.
This is a great follow-up from Cam.
From Cam. Yes, it's a bittersweet feeling they showed X-23 Definitely. However, I like to believe there's people who don't care for the superhero genre, but have watched or enjoyed Logan. Will her appearance attract that specific audience in? Thanks.
Yes,
those,
there are
those 500,000 people.
100% that there are going to be some people that are like, oh, there's a new Deadpool movie coming out. And they're going, you know what? I like that Logan movie. Yeah, I think, because I guarantee you there are people out there who are fans of the Logan movie that may not be necessarily fans of the Deadpool movies.
100%.
And going, oh, okay. Yeah, I think that's good. Like, look, do I think they needed to put Daphne Keane in the trailer? No. Do I think it's effective? Yeah.
I think it's really smart because you
Yeah.
still do have some people who went, he shouldn't come back. Logan was such a perfect film. It's going to ruin Logan.
That wasn't Logan, though. You
Yeah.
know, it's like a different universe.
Exactly.
But even if it is, because you know me, I don't buy into this multiverse bullshit. It's Logan.
I'm gonna make
That's
you a
just to me.
believer.
But even if it is, that scene alone justifies the decision of bringing Hugh Jackman back and having that scene. Oh my God, it's so good. I can't wait to see this movie. All right, what's next?
From Richard Z. I was the Chewbacca question. I forgot my name. So have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, Richard Z.
Yeah, Chewbacca and the Moon.
Appreciate that. Thank you for putting in your name there. All right, what's next?
From Xanderman 1 of 2. I know you think Blue Eye Samurai wins the Best Animated Emmy, but I think Scavenger's Reign has a chance to upset. Oh, I just started this show. It was an incredible show that was creative with its creature designs, concept, suspense, and horror. It's definitely worth the 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. The premise is this. The Demeter, a deep space freighter, is damaged by a solar flare, and its surviving crew are stranded on a beautiful and unforgiving planet. They begin to learn the true nature of this planet as they try to survive long enough to escape.
Sounds like a video game.
So you've been watching this.
I just literally only watched the first episode because I'm like,
How-
oh,
what
why
do you
did I
think of it
miss
so
this?
far?
It's cool and messed up. I really like it. I really, really like it.
If you had to compare it to something, what would you compare it to?
Ooh.
Sopranos.
Ooh, that's
Sopranos.
Wait,
the final scene.
I think I started watching this too.
It's really trippy. It's
It's Netflix or what's it on?
you can watch it on Netflix now, but it was a Max show. So
okay.
that's why I didn't catch it
Oh,
on HBO
interesting.
Max, and then I saw it there, and I ended up putting it in the queue.
cool.
I will say I had a little bit of an edible though, so I need to rewatch it. 'Cause there's some weird stuff that happens, and I was like, oh, I'm going to take my little sleepy time, 2 milligrams, and then whoopsie doo.
She's like, I didn't know this TV was 3D.
Yeah, I had to do a quick little like. That's a thing, right? And I was like,
That's
yes,
the
it's a
thing,
thing. Yes,
right.
it's a thing.
All right, what's next?
From Nova Kaiju. So, John, you've talked about a bunch of mainstream anime that didn't interest you, but what anime have you enjoyed? My favorites include Star Blazers, Space Battleship Yamato, Speed Racer, Attack on Titan, Kaiju number 8, One Punch Man, and Mob Psycho.
Ooh, One Punch Man.
Shout out.
Well, I mean, God bless your soul. You just named one of my favorite things of all time, which is Star Blazers, also known as Space Battleship Yamato. I loved that as a kid. It's one of those, there's a lot of stuff that we love as kids, and as we get older, it's like, oh, okay, that was great when I was a kid, but whatever. Star Blazers remains to me a truly wonderful. So the basic, for those of you who don't know anything about Star Blazers, the basic idea is this. Is Earth starts getting hit with these meteorites, these radioactive meteorites that are killing the planet. And we don't know anything about who's attacking us, why is this happening. Then we get a message from a distant planet. I think it's called Iskandar. They get a message from a distant planet from the Princess of Iskandar saying, hey, you're being attacked by these people. But, and humanity now has to live underground. But the problem is, radiation is slowly starting to seep through the ground. So they've only got like another year or 2 years to live. Humanity only has another year or 2 years to live. So we get this message from a distant planet saying, if you can get to us, we've got a device that will clean all the radiation off your world and save your world. So the governments of Earth get together and they pull out the real World War II battleship Yamato, the legendary battleship Yamato, and they retrofit it into a starship. And they call it the Space Battleship Yamato, with something called the Wave Motion Gun. That was like their ultimate weapon. It would they'd have to charge away, because if you look at the front of the ship, Jonathan, I don't know if you can find see if you can find a ship of the Space Battleship Yamato. But at the very, very front of the ship is just this giant cannon hole, right? The ship is covered with guns. It's awesome. But then there's this one big thing that they have to massively charge up. And in the most dire situations, they go, prepare, charge the wave motion gun. Boom, and they charge up the gun, and it would fire and just basically destroy anything that's in front of it. That thing right at the front of the ship. Basically destroyed just about anything in front of it. But then they've got these nasty villains that are trying to stop them all the way along. It's great. It's first commanded by this admiral who then later dies. And like the young, scrappy upstart fighter pilot fills in the shoes, becomes captain midway through the journey. It's awesome. And I really hope, I get very excited to talk about Star Blazers. I love Star Blazers. Anyway, then a lot of the big classics, Ghost in the Shell, Akira. There was one, Ray got me watching One Punch Man, and I got to admit, I actually really like One Punch Man.
It's so fun.
One Punch Man is pretty damn
One
fun.
Punch Man.
Pretty damn fun. So yeah. All right, what's next?
From Scott Brown, 1 of 2. Acolyte, this series was just awful. It's frustrating because there's things that could have been used to tell a good story. The show doesn't explain anything the characters do. They just do things because the plot needs them to. So nonsensical. And this show just tells you everything and shows you nothing. Like Osha used to be a Jedi. Can we see that? No. Kamir used to be Ventress's apprentice. Can we see that? No. Just awful writing. Characters doing dumb stuff over and over. Why? Because plot.
What plot? I mean, at the end of look, I watched 5 episodes of this thing, and I still didn't know why this show existed. I still didn't know what the point of the show was.
I hung until the end.
Did you?
Yeah,
you got all the way to the end?
I did get all the way to the end. And it's a Celine Dion song. There are moments of gold and there are flashes of light. But there are things I'd never do again. So I think there's some really great things there. Like Manny Jacinto is so good in this show. He's so wonderful. The Jedi Soul is such a great character. But a lot of this stuff with Osha and May, I just went, yeah, okay. It could have been so much more.
Yeah, I just had to tap out of it. It's again, so I mean, I can't give any commentary to how the final couple of episodes were, but I just know I had seen enough. All right, what's next?
From Scott Brown. Just came back from vacationing in Quebec, Canada, and it was beautiful.
Oh, it's a gorgeous place.
Saw the awesome waterfall and ventured all over the city. Everything was so clean and had art everywhere. I also tried poutine, and it was actually really good. Actually, it's fries with gravy and cheese.
Yeah, how
Like,
can
what?
it be?
Yes.
I could absolutely live there.
Cheese curds.
Yeah.
Oh,
Little squeaky
poutine
cheese.
done right it'll change your life. It will change the way you see the world.
There's a great poutine truck that roves around LA.
Yes. It's really tasty.
But listen, Quebec is a absolutely stunning city. It's absolutely beautiful. Especially when you go into the old quarter, like where it feels like you're walking around in a World War II movie with these like cobblestone streets and this beautiful architecture and wonderful food. Yeah, Quebec is pretty spectacular. I'm glad you had a chance to visit. All right, what's next?
From DJ Infa. Okay, Mr. J, now your butt has had a taste of 4DX. Okay. Now that your butt has had a taste of 4DX, do you think this screen can affect box office numbers? When Jurassic World came out, my 4DX in the UK was sold out for weeks. 4DX was new, so there was a novelty aspect. But for the right movie?
I don't know how many screens there are.
I enjoyed, that's the thing. It's not really going to impact anything box office because there's so few screens.
Right.
And I would also say this. It is absolutely not a theater for everybody.
Yeah, it's not definitely.
It is not a theater for everybody. A 4DX experience is not for everyone. Unlike Prime is for everyone. IMAX is for everyone. 4DX is not for everybody. So no, I think 4DX for the right movie is something I would definitely go back to again. I had a good time, but not for every movie. And there are a lot of people I know that I couldn't bring with me that wouldn't go. So no, do I think 4DX is going to have a big impact on future films box office? I don't. No, not really. All right. What's next?
From DJ Infa again. Can you now tell us what you were going to rename the show? I'm guessing with us only having you to 2025, it will be John Campea to the end.
So no, we had settled on. So back when I was thinking about renaming the show, and I still look, I still don't know what I'm going to do with the show when I retire. So I don't know if I'm just going to shut the show down. I don't know if I'm going to make some adjustments to it and let the show carry on without me. Like I still don't know. But back a couple years ago when I was thinking about changing the name of the show from the John Campea Show, the name we ended on was Press Play. Now, look, you got to understand, at the end of the day, the name of an internet show is really not important. It's not. The John Campea Show is not a good title for a show. It's a terrible, terrible title for a show. But it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Even for movies, titles of movies really don't mean anything other than their marketing. They're just a piece of marketing. But Press Play, I thought I got convinced of by everybody that it was it was memorable. People remember Press Play. It was applicable for, for streaming, for watching videos, for watching YouTube. You press play. So yeah, that was what we were looking at doing. We ultimately didn't do it, but the name we had landed on when we were thinking about changing the name of the show was just Press Play. All right, what's next?
From DJ Info one more time. Forgot to put my name on the last one. Anyway, I'm hoping your retirement is similar to Jay-Z's. God knows what I'm going to watch when I have some dead DJ bookings in the future. I wonder if there's another YouTuber I can convince that the MCU is the GOAT.
Yeah, listen, I haven't finalized a date of when I'm retiring. I just know it's going to be sometime in 2025. It certainly won't be before the release of Superman. So it'll probably be somewhere between the release of Superman and then the end of that year.
I'm gonna mark my calendar. This is fun to realize.
Yeah.
Oh no.
It's gonna be somewhere there, but definitely not before the new Superman movie. Definitely not before then. All right, what's next?
From Renetta or Ronnie W. Hey, John and crew. Happy Friday. 7 days away from Deadpool and Wolverine. Game day's on its way, baby. Got my 3 tickets. Can't wait. Chris, if you're there today, what's up, girlfriend? Oh, hey, I am here. What's up, Ronnie? Love you, girl. Love you back. Thank you.
Yeah, Ann and I have tickets for a 2:00 showing on Thursday and a 5:00 showing on Thursday. Or is it 6?
Are you just
One of the two.
Are you guys just getting like dinner out there between or something?
I think I'm just eating popcorn. Honestly,
I mean, because there's a big gap in between.
Yeah, but
I guess there isn't really.
yeah,
Because
there's not much of it because after trailers and everything like
Yep.
that, so it might be a little bit of time, but I'm probably just going to be absorbing popcorn and butter as my sustenance for that day. Probably. All right. What's next?
From Renetta again, tipping $20. Thank you so much,
Renetta.
Ronnie. This is one of two. By the way, when I watched X-Men and finished that series, I was like, wow. The memorable quotes they were dropping were crazy. There is no love without sin. Love is best measured in what we forgive. What? Looking forward to season 2. Also, why the hell was I attracted to a cartoon Magnus?
He was daddy.
Ronnie, we all were. We all were. Every human being was. They made him too hot. Zaddy vibes all the way. Damn. They knew what they were doing. Let's put Magneto in a Speedo for reasons.
For reasons. What bring that up again, because the first part, because there was something she asked.
But also a picture of Magneto.
For
reasons.
Love is sin, love is best measured by what we forgive. Yeah, there's a lot of great like one lines like that are dropped throughout it. Again, I loved X-Men 97. Don't get me, for what it was great. It also really makes me wonder how X-Men 97 part 3, season 3 is going to be, because the guy who ran it and wrote it got fired. Now, the good news is he already wrote season 2 and they already made season 2. So I'm wondering what kind of a big quality shift we might get when season 3 comes. That aside, the one issue I had with X-Men 97, I brought this up every single time. I loved all the episodes, but every single time, here's the one weakness to it, is that it is a Twitter show, right? They try to tell a very huge amount of story in a very quick synopsis kind of way, right? Because these are like really short episodes. Like they basically tell the entire story of Krakoa in many ways in literally 20 minutes. They tell the entire story of Krakoa. So it's a very abbreviated, very kind of Twitter sort of storytelling method. And their results were great. But it wasn't really like fully fleshed out storytelling. But in that annotated style, they filled it with some gold. Like some of the one-liners in it, even the episodes I didn't like so much, Storm and what's the guy's name again? The technical guy.
Beast.
No. The guy whose mutant power is all about interacting with technology and machinery. Forge is it. So I didn't really like that part of the story, but even in there, they packed in some gold lines in that whole thing too. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how they're able to follow it up with the next season. All right, what's next?
From Ray Campea. What? Wish they hadn't spoiled X-23 a week before the movie. After all that lying they had her do to keep it secret too, LMAO. I'm sure that means they have even more up their sleeve, but would have been a nice reunion to see for the first time during the film.
They definitely have more up their sleeve.
It still will be.
Listen, I can guarantee you this. It's not going to impact your emotional response to it when it happens on screen at all. I guarantee it. And like when she first shows up and which we don't know how she's going to do that, when she's first going to come into the picture and all that kind of stuff. There are so many times that I have learned things about movies and then gone in and seen the movie knowing that a certain thing was coming. But if the movie's done well, when it happens, it doesn't lose any of its potency. Like it'll still have that emotion. And if those scenes are done well, which it looks like they are in the trailer, but if those scenes are done well, you are not going to have 1 ounce less of an emotional response to it. So I wouldn't worry about that at all. All right, what's next?
From Tyler. Hi, the John Campea Show. Technical question. How do you find, sort, and choose topics to put onto the show? How do you determine what is topic worthy or not topic worthy? Thanks for a great community and being role models to us all.
So, okay. So I start the night before. My starting point is I go to my news feed reader, which is what is the name of it? It's an aggregator that pulls in. I have all the news feeds from like 30 different news sites come pulled into one thing. And I go through that the night before. My main criteria are, number 1, what interests me? Number 2, what do I think will interest our viewers? And then number 3, what will be fun to talk about? those are my main criteria. So there's going to be times that there's a story out there that maybe some people think we should cover, but it honestly doesn't interest me at all, so I won't. There are some stories out there that really do interest me, but I know none of my viewers will be interested in it, so I don't. And then there are some stories that, I'll give you an example. There are some recent numbers that have been going around in some of the trades about the streaming platforms and certain statistics and numbers on the streaming platform. And I'll be honest with you, I look at it and I think there is some relevance to the story, but it's not going to be fun to talk about. And so I'll leave that off. And so I basically pulled together a list of 7, 8, or 9 stories. Then the next morning I get up very early, check the East Coast news feeds, see if there's anything new that pops up, and then I whittle it down to 4, 5, or 6 stories. And by those criteria, what interests me, what do I think will interest my viewers, and what do I think will be fun to talk about? And then I use that criteria to narrow it down to the topics that we end up with. That's it in a nutshell. All right. What's next?
From Stubble McShave. For Chris, R&B said it was a joy to work with you on the audio drama. Aw, what was it like to be directed by your Batman Beyond crew partner, and what did you think of the experience in general? Oh, Stubble, thank you for
Before
asking.
you answer that, just so people understand, Rob has been for the last number of months working on an audio drama called True Noir, which they are doing a panel for at the upcoming Comic-Con. And he's been working very hard on that. And Chris was a part of that. So
Yeah.
Chris.
It was really great. I mean, first of all, Robert Meyer Burnett, best work husband of all time. Like, the dude looks out for me so much. My husband and I, my real husband, Logan, we did the proof of concept for him back in October of this. And luckily, we all worked really well together. And Rob gave me a really juicy part after kind of proving myself in that. So I'm one of the leads in this. It is a fantastic, pulpy crime drama that is completely immersive. We got to work with actors in the room, which is so rare in voiceover. You're usually by yourself, just kind of shouting into the void. But I had somebody to play off of, which was really great. The thing is going to be really cool. It's going to feel like you're there in the room with us because of all the beautiful Foley everyone is doing. I have experience with this kind of stuff too, just because of my background in VO, but particularly because I had just finished Marvel Move with Ella Watts, and that's another immersive experience. I think you guys are going to really, really dig it. It's amazing. And if you are going to Comic-Con, come see us. We're doing a panel Thursday, like John said. We're going to be in, let me double check, room 6A at 5:30. And then I think Rob and I are doing a Q&A afterwards. But come hang out, come talk to us. And we're also doing a fantastic little Kickstarter for this. And it's just for you guys to get the physical media. Everything's already been taken care of. All of us actors have been paid. So it's just so you can get your hot little hands on the actual product and have it forever. Thanks for asking.
All right. What's next?
From Piero. Hey, John, what is your honest thought regarding the reason of the 30-minute Disney Plus shows? Are they trying to set out a new standard? Disney must be well aware of people not liking the format, right? Seems like they don't care and have their own plans.
Here's the problem. They may care. They might care that we've acted very negatively towards it, but you have to remember that, like, the shows that are coming out right now are shows that have been in the blueprint stages for years, and they've kind of been sketched out and modeled out years and years ago. Remember, they first announced the Acolyte like 5 years ago. Like, whenever that Disney, what do you call that? That investor day call that they did where they announced Fantastic Four and all that was years ago, right? So I've always tell people major shifts at a studio will take us years to feel the impact of. Like when Bob Chapek took over as CEO, we said, we're not really going to feel the impact of this for at least a couple of years. And sure enough, it did take a couple of years before we started feeling all the impact of his decisions. Once Bob Iger became CEO again a while ago, I said again, don't expect for anything to change overnight. Like, they're going to start making changes behind the scenes, but we're not going to feel the changes in the product that's coming out for years. And we're starting to get to that point now. So it very well could be that maybe Disney did get the message, and hopefully future stuff is going to be addressed, because it's like, look, if you don't have enough content to truly make a show, then don't make a show.
Well,
If you do, make a proper show.
well, in general, it kind of felt like they're trying to fast track their way into a bigger library on Disney Plus. Would like to add bulk to their library with modern shows, and like that rush kind of felt like it was shown in all the episodes that we've gotten, and a lot of things, just so they have a little section for Agatha, or like, WandaVision and all that stuff. Like, it just felt like they're trying to fast track their way into competing with Netflix.
I think it was a reflection of the Bob Chapek philosophy, which, again, one of the producers from Disney pointed out that Bob Chapek literally put out a mandate that says make as much as you can as fast as you can. And I think this kind of highlights that. So hopefully in the next year or two, we'll see them start to move towards actually proper television and not this nonsense they've been giving us. All right, what's next?
From Johnny Wiener. So I don't know if y'all saw Batman cameo in Crisis Part 3 that supposedly Kevin Conroy voicing one last. So I don't know if y'all saw the Batman cameo in Crisis Part 3 that supposedly has Kevin Conroy voicing Batman for one last time, where he started. It's a great scene. I care, Joker, about Gotham, about justice, and if it has to end, at least I go out being Batman. Sorry, Johnny.
No, I haven't watched any of that. So
I've seen the first two. I'm just waiting for the third one to become free on Max.
Oh.
For a while, I think even till now, you have to.
what's
pay
it
for
on right now?
It's on Max. The first two episodes, Crisis on Infinite Earth.
But it's
Part
like
three?
the
The
other,
animated
Behind a
movies.
paywall on Max?
Yeah, it's on Max. No. But in order for the third one, I was
Oh,
just checking out.
I see what you
if
mean.
wanted
So
to get that-
where do you watch the third one now if somebody wanted to watch it now?
if it's not behind a paywall, then it would be on Max. If
So it's not
free.
yet. It's not out yet.
Okay, but so it's not available on Max yet.
I the last time I checked, it wasn't. I'm not sure now, but yeah.
All right. Okay, what's next?
From DJ Info again. John, thanks for answering all my questions past 48 hours with great details and enthusiasm. Maybe it's just me who asks good ones, LOL, sometimes.
Well, we appreciate everybody who sends in questions, wants to add to the conversation. Thank you for that, man. All right, what's next?
From DJ Info again. Jonathan, please Google a picture of Screen X Cineworld and show John. Now he's done 40X. I'm wondering if you guys have one of these in the
Oh, I know what
USA.
Screen X is.
Yeah,
Like-
you
Yeah.
brought that up.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
actually, Ann was just talking about that yesterday. Remember, Ray?
Yeah.
Because that's the one that has the
That's the one
screens
we
that
still
come
haven't.
around you and all that kind
Oh,
of stuff.
cool.
Yeah, I honestly don't know that I'm interested in that.
Yeah.
I don't know what movie would actually make that work or like make it worth going to that screening other than a regular screening.
That feels like
I
the
can only
Kung
see,
Fu
like,
Panda ride then.
I was thinking like a Jurassic World type of movie would be
Oh.
good.
I'm
Yeah,
thinking
maybe.
You're surrounded by the jungle or whatever.
Yeah,
but-
yeah. I
Like
could
maybe
get
a
into
movie
that.
that's specifically made for that format could take advantage of it, but just taking the picture and then stretching out over multiple screens that kind of surround you a bit. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've never tried it. I'm not saying I'd actually even be interested in trying it, but it would be an interesting experience. All right, what's next?
From Daniel. Hey everyone, been watching you, John, since your Dark Knight review way back in the day.
Wow.
My question to you all is this. Kevin Feige called you today and offered you the chance to have a small cameo as a character of your choice in Deadpool. Who'd you play? You guys know. Be Squirrel Girl. Squirrel Girl or death.
There you go.
I honestly don't know that. Like, it would have to be a character that hasn't already been there.
Yeah, and he said a like a small cameo of a character, but it could be a big character.
But I mean, if it's a character that's already being played by somebody else,
Sure,
then I
yeah, you
couldn't
can't-
then
yeah.
nobody would even know who I was, right? Because I can't be Scott Summers, because I would come on and people will go, who's that? They wouldn't think I was Scott Summers because I'm not James Marsden, right? I don't know. I think just be a guy on a sidewalk as that car drives by. I'd be fine with that. I don't know which character I would want to do. I definitely had to be one with no acting because I can't act. So that would have to be an important thing. Can't be somebody that can act, that needs acting because I can't act.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I could think of someone, but like, do you remember in Infinity War, the comic book run, they had the evil doppelgangers of the
Yeah.
I'd just be a Spider-Man doppelganger. It's just like,
You know what?
That'd be
Mr. I has it. I'll be Mephisto.
There you go.
I'll be Mephisto.
Yeah.
Just
There
with
we
a
go.
shirt that says Mephisto, so no one misses it.
And technically, Mark Newman's correct. Technically, I'm already in the MCU, so I could just be my own character from the MCU, just popping up in Deadpool. All right, what's next?
From We Trade and Do Math. Hello from Norway. What are the chances that in Deadpool and Wolverine's post-credit scene, we get the inevitable reveal that Cassandra Nova was only a puppet used by the MCU's true new main villains, the Trade Federation, setting up their spin-off musical?
dude, it's totally that.
Oh my
The
God.
TVA
Those NDAs are
has to
meaningless.
end these trade embargoes. It's throwing everything off. I mean, listen, there are some people. I've heard a theory out there. It's not a popular one, but I've heard a theory out there that some people think Doctor Doom is actually controlling Cassandra Nova, which I do not think was in the cards.
Seems like a
No.
stretch.
Yeah, I think it's a bit of a stretch, but there are some people who
that's what
think that.
Mr.
It'd be interesting to see if
Yeah.
that turns out. All right, what's next?
From Will, I too am in the UK and can confirm that our popcorn options are sweet or salted. I'm curious, how do you apply the butter? Is it
What
like
the?
a
We get a
pump?
butter knife
I'm
and
so
individually
curious.
put it on each popcorn butter.
Spread
Popcorn,
the-
right?
No, so
Yes,
the butter
oh.
is melted, and it's in a machine, and you hold your bucket under the little nozzle, and it starts releasing the butter, and you move your popcorn butter around to spread the butter around. It's delightful.
Man, the butter at ArcLight was always so good. Remember
The
ArcLight?
butter at ArcLight was the best.
Chocolate was amazing.
The butter at ArcLight was
They
best.
should have that at 40X instead of the mist. It should just be
You
butter.
just get butter.
Just butter, spray butter in your face. All right,
Let's move
what's
on
next?
quickly.
Very slippery theater when you go try to leave.
No.
Edgar.
Edgar Navarro. So the two goats named John are retiring next year. Oh, what is my life to become without y'all? Who's the
It's like a
other?
retirement show, man. We got more.
Who
Who's
else?
the other John?
Yeah.
Is it a sport thing?
I don't
maybe.
know. Is there a John retiring next year? I don't know who it is, but I don't know why people
John
obsess with
Oliver?
guys.
Yeah.
It is a long ways away.
And
I
also,
don't know
like,
why. At minimum,
Why
it's a full
today of
year.
all days?
I love this though because remember how everyone was so mad in the chat about how long it was going to be till we got House of the Dragon, and it's
Oh.
the same amount of time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
John Cena. They're saying John Cena.
Oh, John
Oh,
Cena.
John
retiring.
Cena.
Yeah, true.
That's
But
right. is
again, that
retiring
one
next
is like
year.
another nebulous. Like
Yeah.
at some point in 2025, I'll probably stop doing this.
Yes. All right.
You'll be fine.
What's next?
From Anonymous, do you have any tips for anyone with anxiety that hates crowds but wants to see the new Deadpool movie in a theater?
Dude, Sunday at 8 a.m. It is like a quarter filled theater still.
I mean, if you want to go opening day, that's
That's
gonna
not
be
why
tough.
I'm doing it, but I'm just telling you.
That's a very good question.
Morning, just honestly, like, no jokes aside, like, or all jokes aside, like a morning screening if you can.
Yeah,
They're the
during
best.
the week.
Yeah,
During the
morning
day.
or a very there are going to be some very late night screenings too. So I mean the hope is like, here's the thing for me. I don't like flying because I have a fear of heights. So I'm very uncomfortable on a plane. I mean, I don't let it stop me from getting on a plane. I fly, but I don't like it. But so what I try to do is to try to make sure I get distracted by either, and the best way for that for me is popping on a movie. The right movie, I get sucked into the movie and I just totally forget that I'm 7,000 feet above the ground. And then I'm in my own world. So hopefully Deadpool can do that for you, that you can get into your theater, sit in your seat. I mean, at least the good thing is it's not like you're at a nightclub where you're standing around and people are bumping into you. Like you got your
Oh,
seat, be
gross.
comfortable. Go see it at an AMC Prime theater where you can have a full leather recliner
Oh, yeah,
and
nice,
recline
yeah.
out. And then hopefully the movie just transports you and takes you into the movie and you become oblivious to everything else around you. That's my best, or as Jonathan's predicting or suggesting, either early in the morning or something very later at night when the theaters won't be as full.
Yeah.
Best of luck though, man. I hope you're able to do it. All right, what's next?
All right, CJ Rebirth, one of my all-time favorite childhood movies, got added finally to Disney Plus this week. Angels in the Outfield with Christopher Lloyd, and Danny Glover, and a very young, talented JGL, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt was it?
And an Angel in the Out, yeah. He's very
I
young.
never knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I never knew that. That's funny. You know what? We're already out of time, but let's get a couple of more of our
All right.
of our member questions.
All right, Christian says, man, the finale for The Boys.
So
fire."
good. So
Yeah.
good.
All right. Arun says, I have a wild guess when they will place the Greatest Showman's track in Deadpool 3. In the trailer, you can see the scene where Cassandra Nova takes control of Wolverine and she moves him like making Wolverine dance to her tunes. It will be really funny.
I don't think so. You know why? Because scenes with Cassandra doing something like that, I don't think are going to be meant to be funny.
Right.
No.
So I have a feeling it'll happen in a scene that is meant to be funny. But I don't know if you saw that, Chris, that the soundtrack came out
Yeah.
for Deadpool and Greatest Showman is one of the tracks. Oh, I'm so excited about that.
I'm really stoked.
I'm so stoked for that. All right, what's next?
All right. King Daddy Goat. Hey, everyone. Everyone will be anticipating where we will see the boys again in season 5. Personally, I'll be anticipating Ashley's hot new look. Wish we could have got a glimpse, but I guess we will have to wait.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the post-credit scene was going to be cutting back and showing Ashley. Because obviously the V didn't kill her, because later on Homelander's back in his room again and there's no Ashley. So I really want to know what she's doing now and how powerful is she? We'll find out. All right, what's next?
All right, we got Dario says, hello from Netherlands. I saw this new Amazon trailer for a TV show called For
Those Who About to Die. Yeah.
Gives me some Gladiator vibes. Did you see the trailer? Are you interested? Have a great weekend.
I am interested. I look, again, it could go badly. It looked like it could be bad, but at the same time, it caught my interest. I think it looks kind of interesting. I'll be looking forward to checking it out for sure. All right, last question of the day.
All right, Alan says, happy Friday, Campy crew. Never seen Logan, and I'm planning to watch it over the weekend. Always avoided it because it seems like a depressing movie.
It's
Depressing
a powerful
themes.
movie.
It's powerful, yeah.
It's powerful. It's, I think, one of the 3 greatest comic book movies of all time. I think it's one of my all-time favorite movies. It's not my top 10, but it's one of my all-time favorite movies. It's just a powerful, wonderful, at times hilarious, and at times painful, but it's a beautiful movie. And it is truly, listen, if you're at all a fan of the genre, you're never going to find more than 1, 2, or 3 movies in the genre that are better than Logan. It's just so phenomenal. Do yourself, even if it wasn't to get ready to watch Deadpool, you should be watching Logan anyway. So definitely go and check it out. I think you're going to love it. And all right, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here and making this little show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in those questions. Number 1, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number 2, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. I want to thank the people in the room with me, Ray Ora.
Bye-bye.
Jonathan Voico.
See you guys next week.
Chris Carr.
See you next week at Comic-Con.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.